All right, we're recording. Okay. Once again, Brian Kynes, the creator of the Tales of Ulran campaign setting. We use Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition to play through and tell our story. And the awesome folks that are with me help me write it one episode at a time. Tonight, we've got people all over the place doing all kinds of crazy shit. Sean has gotten into some stuff. Rachel is off doing some visiting. But we have these three folks here involved, and we're going to have to just see what we can get into. We're not going to try to get into anything earth shattering without the other ones around, but who the hell knows? Who knows what'll happen? But we'll always take what we can get, and yeah, that's pretty much that. So go ahead and we'll start some introductions. Go ahead, Mr. Keaton.
My name is Jeremy. I'll be playing Brahmus, which is a warforged seraphim piloted by a human spirit by the name of Mirk.
Nicely done. And I want to make a mention too. We try to use things from D&D and because incorporate them as much as we can. But if something needs to be changed for the world setting, like you just mentioned, we base this whole idea of this character off of a Warforged. But there would be no Warforged in the Tales of Ulran. So we kind of took that idea and morphed it, and that's why we got the awesome character that Jeremy runs. So we take things and try to shape them for our storytelling. Is that pretty much fair, Jeremy? Nicely done. Okay, Mr. Carter, go ahead.
Hello, I am Corey. I will be playing Darius, the bard of many secrets of this at this particular junction.
I like it. The last time he introduced his character, he says the fucked up bar. And I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
we got it. That'll work. Okay. And lastly, go ahead, sir.
My name is Colby, and I'll be playing Kiltusk, who is a native of the islands we are currently at. And he
Okay.
is a barbarian / ranger.
Nice. It's kind of like a combo class. It's really, there's some really, really neat stuff going on there with you, which we're finding out. Okay. So, the last time we played, we had finally um, got that sea scourged to bug out and run after we had knocked out several of those marrow. Everyone had a hand in killing several of them. Not a whole lot of injury. Everyone handled themselves pretty well, and especially Valdera and Silouan, which were sucked off the damn ship by that big old celestial shark spell. That was ridiculous. You didn't think you'd ever hear all those words in one sentence. The celestial shark spell that teleported me underwater. But everyone seemed to come out fairly decent. And it was still pretty early in the AM. This was about 2 to 3 AM. People had started to get a rest, but got interrupted in the middle of it. And now was the chance for everyone to either stay awake and finish off the morning and live with just a short rest, or try to get the remainders of whatever sleep can be had on this ship before the sun comes up. I remember that Jeremy had said that Brahmus would go ahead and stand back by the front of the ship. You had made some adjustments to the way you had done it earlier, and I'll go through some of the personal messages that I sent you about the transformations that Mirk has went through since all this started. Corey, I'll have you give me just a little refresher here in just a moment as to where you were going after all this was said and done. I remember you had a conversation with Aeolus talking about he's glad you woke up when you did. You guys shared a few kind of cleverly placed words back and forth, kind of playing mental chess with each other a little bit. And I remember Kiltusk had began to answer some questions, and he made it known to the group. And if I'm mistaken here, stop me. Just raise your hand and be like, "Bullshit, Brian." But I remember you saying that there were originally 5 members of the Atlati Warriors, which is what you are. You are an Atlati Warrior. And there were 5 of them that were out on this particular continent. And they were looking for clues to this ancient ruin that is supposedly supposed to hold some great and powerful weapon that will be able to help you stand up against the Quetzalcoatl. Now, if anyone out there watching these videos knows how to properly pronounce that, please let me know, because I've looked at it and I've tried to find translations of it, and it's like it begins with a QUE. It's like the Aztec ancient bird, and the only pronunciation I could find was the Quetzalcoatl, which makes no sense when you look at the word. So I'm just going to stick with it, and if you guys find something else out, let me know, and I can always change.
I've always understood it to be Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl, and see, it looks like coatl, but when
Quetzalcoatl.
yeah, what do you do, right? So, you had blown out some kind of monster call, Colby, and through the dense rain and the rapping of the waves against the ship and things like that, you only heard 3 replies come back to you. Now, the rest of this group really don't know about all the dangers that are going on the island currently, and we'll reveal those things as we get further into this. If I could, when you have downtime, I would like to suggest that you give a read to those papers I have done, and that will explain to you the kind of dire crap that you're going through currently. Okay? Has to do with the lizard folk. All right? So, I believe the section you'll want to read for that, let's see here, where's that? That's going to be under the Talua, Taluha. It'd be that paragraph. That's the home of the Atlati, which is what you are. Okay? Okay. So, we'll pick up there. Corey, what else was it you were doing after you had spoken with Aeolus and things like that? Do you remember anything, any goals you had, or the next thing you were getting into?
Yeah, I mean, Darius basically had the conversation, with the native here about the safety that they would have with this boat docked where it is, with that sea scourge coming out, and everyone was pretty adamant that it was safe, but he, isn't sure he agrees. So he definitely wouldn't go back to sleep.
Okay.
Also knowing that, the dream he had and whatnot, like it weighs heavily on his mind. So I'd imagine that he would partake in a little bit of bar action slightly, and then kind of like do as much as possible going around the ship, kind of getting a lay of the land, understanding how many people there are. He's basically surveying the potential that this ship is going to have to get him where he needs to go, versus him making his way other, he has a goal. Will this ship get him there, or does he need to go elsewhere?
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, with those things, let's go ahead and start with the first one of those that you came up with, which was the Dragon's Belly, which was the place where everyone had been performing, and this is pretty much the bar, or that kind of what Aeolus likes to call the tasting room of the Lilung, the vessel. Let's go ahead and start you down there. Just for the hell of it, roll me. I'll let you do either perception or investigation on your way down there, as everyone's trying to find their spot for the night.
Yeah, it's both the same. So that'll be a 19.
A 19's good. And just for the hell of it, Jeremy, roll me a 1d20. 20, it's fucking just pouring down rain still. And a 1, and it's let up significantly, but still barely raining.
Five.
Okay, so we have a steady mist of rain that's still falling. Like I said, because of the dangers that we had earlier, Darius, you're noticing that a lot of people are sleeping down in the belly of the ship instead of up on top, as they were before. You would see Silouan wrapping up her own blankets and taking down the hammock that she had hung up. And as she does, she has her helmet down on her side, her hair soaking wet in her face, and she gives a remorseful look over to Brahmus, that's still standing out there, that's still on watch in the front of the ship as if none of this even happened. And there's a sadness to her. She tucks her helmet and looks at it, and you can see one of the wings on it, where she's designed to look kind of like a wyvern, has kind of broken and went sideways. And then she looks at it for just a minute and kind of wrestles with it and tries to move it back into place. And as she does, a piece snaps off in her hand. She looks at it for a long moment, and she looks back at Brahmus, or the construct that is Brahmus, and she toughens up a little bit, and she puts that fin back down into the what's left of her wardrobe, the rest of the armor. And as she walks, you could swear, using a little bit of your ability, you can hear the water sloshing in the boots and things that she has on, because remember, she rolled, she never lost any of her stuff.
Mhm.
She was very fortunate. And she privately walks down into the lower cabins, walking within 10 foot of you. If you want to bite onto that hook and talk to her, you're more than welcome to, or we can move on to something else. There's plenty of people here.
Solomon's the one that Rachel plays, right?
Yes, she is the one-winged avian, and she's the one that is the Skylancer, and she dresses herself in a wyvern-like homemade armor that is medium to look like one of the creatures that attacked her.
Mm-hmm. So just for the the sense of how I know how I would like if I weren't here, I'm not gonna Corey the player is not going to have Darius interact with her, because I know I would want Darius to have I would want that ability to do that myself, for a player to player interaction.
Yeah.
Type of vibe. What I would do, however, is kind of as she's walking by and away, I would like to incant a little prestidigitation to soak the water up inside of her shoes and, kind of help her, at least feel a little more.
I have a question or two as you do that. As I like to do in our game, I know that spells like that just seem to go off just fine. I'd like for you to do me a spellcraft check, which is a 1d20 plus your modifier if you were like a DC modifier.
Okay, so the spell attack bonus.
Yes.
That would be a 10.
Total?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this does the base minimum of what it's supposed to do in the description. So you describe this as you're getting rid of some of the water. Does it find its way out and it's oozing out of the boots and it seems to leave her hair to a degree, or does it evaporate?
So, prestidigitation, it cleans an object about a cubic foot.
Okay.
So, I would say if it's doing the bare minimum, the best it's going to do is stop the sloshing from her boots.
Okay.
But her clothing and whatnot will still be soaking wet.
You audibly notice the difference, but she does not notice it as she is focused on possibly Brahmus, and she walks on past you and she looks over at you as if a weird feeling has come over her, like she should know something, but she doesn't quite catch on. She just gives you a nod, trying to look tough, but she doesn't pull it off the best. She is a very beautiful, just avians in general are naturally attractive, and this one is a very talented bard and things like that. This looks like the cheerleader that's wearing the football pads during the stuff, you know what I mean? It looks odd, but she tries to give you a knowing, tough look, and you've made a difference.
Yeah, I'd imagine too, basically he did it as she walked past, so it's got a 10-foot range. So basically as she got right before that 10-foot, it is vocal and somatic, so he would have had to incant a little something, and then he notices as she steps again outside of that range, the sloshing is lessened, but like it didn't get it, and he's just kind of like, oh, I'm a bit rusty. And as she like turns around and looks, like he doesn't say anything. He just kind of gives her the sense of appreciation, being that wasn't she the one who pulled him out?
One of the ones that tried to help, yes.
Yeah, she was the one that he mainly saw.
Yeah.
So kind of like
Yeah.
giving that vibe.
Awesome. And because you were doing somatic and things like that, I rolled with advantage, and the second roll was a 1. So yeah, she did. So it's just as we described, which is cool. All right, so as you move on down the central stairway that is in the rear of the ship, and you're going underneath where the captain's wheel is, or where the lodestar typically would be, you go under quarters, you see the long hallway, and you head into the tavern-like area. Now it's in the center of this hallway. Then it breaks off in almost like a wishbone-like shape, and then goes down 2 different sets of hallways. Those are where some of the more higher ups like Dahan, Medelia, the other people that are crew members on this ship call their own place. And as you do, and with the high perception check that you had earlier, you noticed something that you haven't seen before. Around the corner of a doorway, as you're walking in, you see, you're not quite, to be honest, this could very easily be your imagination pulling tricks on you. When you look down the hallway, you see this shorter, maybe 5'2", very pale, native-looking girl with hair with some gray in it now, and she moves her head out along the side, and she looks at you with large brown eyes, and she's just peering out of a doorway. And as she does that, and you see her hand, her skin almost has a a grayish kind of color to it, like the life has been sucked from her. And as she looks at you, amazingly, for as much pain as she seems like she might possibly be in, or being ill, she musters a smile that goes straight into your heart. These big brown eyes that she has, there's something about them that's very vibrant. And as she does that, you hear a stronger, more dominant female voice being like, you need to come back. And as a hand goes over her shoulder, a much taller, stronger, sturdier, long, dirty blonde-haired woman dressed to be a paladin, with a large flail hanging at her side, looks over her shoulder and looks at you intently, without an ounce of fear, and looks, if looks could kill, I'd have you start doing death saves. And as she says, come back to bed, Oma. You're not ready yet. And as this blonde-haired woman pulls this other girl back, she opens her lips just so slightly, as if she was going to say something to you. But the stronger, what seems to be the dominant one of the two in that room, pulls her aside, and the door shuts heftily. What do you do with that? Or you can continue on. I just want to get your reaction.
Well, I feel like Darius would definitely kind of look the girl up and down, being that she looks kind of ill and whatnot, and he's seen a many of people fall ill to different things, and it's one of the reasons why he studied in the college and learned some healing abilities, and so he'd want to get a vibe like, does she look like she's like dying, or does she look like she was dying and is looking better?
Roll me a history check.
Ooh, that's a soft 20.
Nice. Jeremy, just for the hell of it, roll me a DC of a 1d20, please.
Thirteen.
Okay, that's good. As you think about it for a minute, right before you get ready to go into the Dragon's Belly, the tavern here, there's a flash of your mind. You've seen her. You know you've seen her, and you can't get this picture out of your head of a frail hand trying to hold up 2 torn pages, and you seeing the big brown eyes come into focus from behind her as she's trying to hold up. Somehow, and you don't know how, she was in that realm with you, and you only get a flash of it, and she was trying to hold up pages to you. Now, tell me what you remember and what you recalled about those torn pages from your book, this ultimate song that you had been working on. We knew the pages were missing. Did you find them while you were in that place, or were they missing still?
Oh, so when you say you mean Darius.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So, if for those watching, recalling that episode, obviously, the dream, the pages were torn out, and upon waking up, the first thing he did was dig through his shit looking for his book to confirm, and those pages were missing.
Okay.
So I'd imagine, with that being said, he was inciting her and looking at that, and that sparked him. Like, as she smiled at him, that would have sparked him, and that was about the time the lady kind of come out and give him that look, which stopped him in his tracks enough to where he didn't rush after her. But as the door closed, like, he would go, wait a minute, and walk to that door.
Okay.
And knock. He wouldn't like bust it open. He would just knock on it. Just.
As you do, you hear an audible and with that, the door opens up just enough to show Tamyra's face. Her eyes unnaturally meet yours, knowing exactly where to look as the door opens. You can see in the background, you can see Oma, or this person, easing herself into bed. And she's not looking at you. Her eyes are closed as she's in a bit of pain. And she rolls over and she goes into this bed, and Tamyra says to you, she goes, I'm not sure exactly what you've been promised, but this is not your room.
I have not been promised this as my room. However, I do apologize for my barging in at this hour, but I have one question that I need. And he kind of like points towards the bed. I know her. I can't explain how, but I just need to talk with her for a moment. She seems ill. I can maybe help.
She steps towards you in a way to back you up a step to shut the door behind her. Now, do you take a gracious step backwards, or do you hold your ground in this moment? What is it that you do? She's going to step out in the hallway to have a word with you.
I would imagine that Darius would at first hold his ground,
right.
But as he notices that she's coming towards him, prominently, he's not trying to, make any rash decisions. So he would kind of start to back up, definitely, like looking over, he's kind of like pointing his gaze between her and the young girl.
Okay.
It's very obvious that he's interested in going into the room, but he would take that half step back.
She says, as she looks in the door as it closes and locks eyes with you again, and says, well, you have manners, and I'll give you that, but if you ask me a question, then I'll ask you a question as well. Fair?
That is fine.
She casts Zone of Truth. You see her do it. Okay. And as she does, she looks at you and she says, I am more than willing to help you with whatever we need, or whatever you may have reason to do on this ship. And I will kill you if you harm the girl that lays in there in that bed. And she stares into your eyes, and she goes, now it's your turn. Ask your question.
Was she in that place? Was she also pulled out where I was pulled from?
She shakes her head, yes, before you even finish the words, and she goes, she was. She is one of the most spiritual and innocent people I know. And if it did that to her in just a matter of moments, how the hell are you standing? I have a problem with people that embrace the darkness that surrounds them.
Okay.
And she's looking at you intensely.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Zone of Truth, there is a save, right?
Sure. And I'm using it more theatrically. I don't use it very often, but let's just go ahead and say there is a save. And I'll roll a DC for how well she cast it, and then you can see how you react to that, okay?
Well, I think the save's on me, because she
but mind you, in my world, I roll things like this to see how potent of a version of it she can.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I got you. The
so
spell
we don't
casting.
we don't just use the 8 plus
Okay.
numbers. We do a 1d20 plus numbers.
Okay, so you're gonna roll to see how
potent the spell
potent
was cast.
she did. Cool.
Yes, and I know what that number is now.
Okay, so now I roll a save against it.
Yes, sir.
Is what you're saying? Okay, I got you.
Yep, and it works that way for you too. And charm person, when you're charming someone, you get to roll 1d20 plus your spell casting modifiers, and that's the DC they have to fail. Same with stunning strike, same with a fire. It's a really cool way to do things.
But it's only if I'm lying, though, right? I don't have to do it unless I'm lying, right?
True.
Okay. So I'll roll if I need to lie, but he's not gonna lie.
As per Zone of Truth too, you can also opt to not lie but skirt the truth. But I think you'd have to do a deception and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think because I don't think it was written up in there. How long was he in there? Like, I don't think we put a timeline on it.
You can tell that now that you're outside of it, it is not the same time of year it was when you went in. It has been months. And it all comes to you in bits and pieces, and you are just now in the very early phases of trying to figure out exactly how long you've been. The only thing that really keys you in on this is the season, and that Bastille, Danny's character, mentioned that he knows somebody that you knew when you guys had that brief, but you really weren't able to tell time from that. You're not quite sure, Darius. It's tough.
Quick clarification too. Remember, I went through Aeolus's like whole room bullshit.
Oh, you did, yeah.
So maybe a roll to see if I even picked anything up on that.
Sure, yeah, go ahead. Investigation, because I know you did. You actually, let's not, because I remember when you were looking through there, you rolled a really high roll initially.
Okay.
Remember, I came up with all kinds of off the cuff shit.
Yeah,
like all this stuff. Let's just add some more stuff to it. Let's make a shit sandwich out of this. So, tell me what it is.
The gist all. Yep. That like the gist is how long? Was it a year? Was it 2 years? That's like nothing more than that.
I'll tell you in a second. Because
Okay.
I have a range
Okay.
that I've wrote this for, and I'm curious to see what happens here. No shit. Um, 2d12, double 11s. You've almost been gone for 2 years.
Okay.
And when you see that, isn't that great? At 1d12, 12 months in a year? Why the fuck
Yeah.
not, right? And
Yeah.
when you, and I rolled those straight ones across the board. So when you, I would have said, when you saw that in that room,
I wouldn't have believed it, to be honest
yeah,
with you.
you're just like, the fuck you say?
Yeah. So this is
Okay.
perfect. This is perfect.
Yeah, I like
So,
it. Go ahead.
So when she says that,
D&D.
he kind of looks at her funny. I don't understand what you mean. I was only in there, but a few weeks, maybe, if that.
She looks at you kind of matter-of-factly and has a little bit of attitude, not towards you, but showing a little bit of her own personal charisma. I want to describe to you what she looks like real quick, Corey, just a little bit more. She is... I don't want to get into her whole backstory because that's not what's going on here. She has a attractiveness to her that she tries to keep hidden through her toughness. She would resemble Clarice Theron. Okay? She has a very stone cold kind of beauty about her. She can look like she could be a villain just as easily as she could be a heroine.
Right.
And the way that she keeps herself, there is something naturally there that is very striking about her. You've written songs about many women. You've performed and sang to many of them. You almost can't help but get kind of lost in her a little bit, even through all this. But she is by no means banking on that. She is scruffy. Her hair is pulled back in a mess and kept in a warrior's knot and hangs down low on her back. Her armor has seen battle. Her flail looks like it would fuck something up. It is wicked and jagged, and yes, and it's a very strange mix. And when she looks at you, as you say that, she goes, I've seen a lot of people worn down. And the kind of wear you have on you, sir, doesn't happen in a couple weeks. Are you okay? And she says that concerningly. And she squints an eye and looks at you, studying to a degree. What do you do?
I guess the dates in your captain's room were correct, and that means I've been gone for almost 2 years.
Her eyes get big.
I won't lie and say that I have seen better days, because this is probably the best day I've seen. Well, I guess in 2 years, but that girl, I think she might have something of mine that I need.
She looks down at the floor and she kind of bites her lip. And she looks at the door and she gives it a look, and she looks up a few of just her eyes. And she says, I believe you, but it's nothing that can't wait until the morning. I'll speak with her. I'm Tamyra.
Darius. I disagree, but I will graciously back away. But the sooner I can get that, the better I will feel.
You can count on her safety, and if she possesses what you seek, then it's safe with her as well. Come find me in the morning.
I will do that, Tamyra. Thank you. And he'll like get out of her way, knowing that like she's
Okay. And now you have a reason to drink.
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Oh yes, for sure.
In that moment, you're headed to the bar. Do-do-do. We're going to flash to Jeremy. All right? Jeremy. Tell me about where Mirk is inside of Brahmus. And we're going to talk about your little discovery a little bit, okay? So, where are you at inside there? And explain to me. I remember you said you were positioning yourself a little bit differently than you had before. So, go into that, please.
Yeah, rather than off the front of the ship looking out at the island, he's sitting on the side of the ship facing out where all that crap come from. That way he'd have a better chance of seeing it before anything bad could happen. On the inside, I don't know that he would actually have a particular goal in mind of what he's doing inside right this minute. He's more or less exhausted his books, trying to find ways to fight the bird. He's gone through all the tactics he could find, and at this point, it's dwelling on what's happened tonight, a combination of that, and kind of dwelling on the memories that he's tapped into, and then of course thinking about the battle.
Okay. As you're doing that, and you're looking into this, how do you want me to pronounce this again? What is the large bird? How did you say it, Jeremy? And speak clearly so I can hear you, because we're going to pick on you if you're wrong.
Either Quetzalcoatl or Quetzalcoatl.
Let's go,
As far as I know.
Quetzalcoatl. We'll just try that. Quetzalcoatl. As you find yourself researching into this thing, the problem is, this place is a collection of your memories. It's a collection of memories from a time long before you, people that look like you were even thought of. And you've also often wondered if this thing doesn't draw from what's around it and evolve. This construct that you're in is extraordinarily unique, and you know it feeds off your own personal memories and the ancient things that you've never seen before, but you've recently noticed it has taken on a couple new things, like the beer mug that you found in there one particular day, and some things of that nature have came to be. And as you're going through and you're going around and doing this, and I'm going to say you're at one of the libraries that you enjoy, okay? And mind you, all the windows look like skylines and memories of your past. You know, they're kind of empty promises. When you look out of the windows in certain rooms, it's just memories of maybe your last dawn or your first horizon, or you can hear the call of some very distant battle coming in from the outside. And as you're in this room for an extra few minutes, and you go to scratch yourself like this, as you're looking into a book between flipping the pages. And as you do, roll a perception check.
$17.
17. You hear something, but you don't know what to think it is. And as you go down to reach and flip the next page, you see a small black hair fall from your fingertips. And it's in a half C shape. And you look down on the book that you're reading, and you look at with your finger, you have a beard. It's not long, maybe half an inch to an inch. You have a beard. You've not evolved as a person since you awoke in this thing hundreds of years ago. What do you do?
I think he would initially go and scratch, and then he would just kind of feel.
It's there, thin
And
around the
he'd
neck.
be in like almost a state of shock that it's been so long since any kind of change or anything has occurred to him.
When you touch your hands to your face like this, you have a quick little flashback, Jeremy. You've had hands on your face like that before. When you do, you get a flash of looking into your fiance's eyes. One time, before you were headed off to war, you had been attempting to grow a beard, but you were young and you couldn't do it very well. And she had put her hands on your face and caressed you. And she said that, she didn't care for this very much. This isn't you, and she didn't want you to lose the innocence that you had. And that was where you had gathered your strength from. And in that moment, and I'll just give you a brief on this, I'm going to let you create a memory from scratch right here, okay? When she says that to you, you know that back then you were growing this thing because you knew the trail to the Mountain of Tears was a long, cold, and harsh one. There'd be days where you were in the sun quite a bit, and the wind could be very bitter and cold because of the always swirling tunnel of wind that encompasses the very top of the avian city, which is what protects it. Okay? So you were growing this thing in an attempt to protect yourself from the elements. So in this memory, Jeremy, as she pulls her hands away from you and is looking at you in the eyes, what is it you remember saying to her? As she says, I don't know if I care for this version of you. This isn't who you are.
Hopefully it'll grow on you as it's growing on me.
She looks down and she rubs her belly. And she goes, I just hope that you're the same man when they lay eyes on you for the first time as when I lay them on for what could possibly be the last. She goes, I don't care if you change the exterior, Mercandal. And she runs her finger down your cheek and touches you on the chest. She goes, but this is why I love you. And she pokes at your chest. And she goes, don't grow a beard on your heart. What do you say to that?
He'd look down at her and smile. Until the day I die, I will remain just like this. You can count on that.
And with that, the memory fades. And you're left sitting there holding this, wondering, is she truly gone? Have I finally let her go and now I can do this? Describe to me what you're thinking inside your head. I'm curious.
I would think it would be something along the lines of that, and more or less chuckling to himself, just remembering specifically that she just never cared for it. It was just, she just.
Right. Okay. With that, let's give you a pause in a moment. Let's go ahead and talk to Kiltusk for a minute, okay? We're getting around the table, everybody. There's some things here I kind of wanted to go over with you guys, and we're having a good start. So, I'm right in the middle of recording. What do you need? Just a moment, everyone. I apologize. Okay. Daughter's looking for stuff for school tomorrow and trying to get her stuff together, which is good. I'm glad she has some gumption. Okay. Moving forward. Kiltusk, talk to me a little bit about what you were doing at the end of the last episode. I remember different bits and pieces, and I sometimes I go back and I watch the last half hour. Today I was very busy working on some things. I did not get a chance to do that. So even if you don't remember exactly, this is a chance for you to kind of recreate those last few moments there. Remember that you blew out the horn, you got the call back from everybody, and knowing that only 3 of 5 sounds were made, I think we ended it damn near there. So what was your reaction to that. And mind you, you can ask me who's around you. You literally can do whatever you want to here. And if you're not quite sure, I'll narrow it down to some options for you, okay?
Yeah, so I want to say Kiltusk is gonna feel a little worried knowing he only had three replies back to his call that he sent out.
You hear the forest in the distance. You hear the little groaning and moaning sounds of beasts and creatures that you know are out there lingering. Now, you know that your people are capable. But the other two, and it bothers you that you can't tell which two are the ones that didn't call you back. You don't know. You just know for sure that there's one in particularly that you really truly do wish is still out there. Probably the best one of them. Do you know which one I'm speaking of just off the top of your head? If not, that's fine. I believe... Go ahead.
Is that the leader you're talking about?
Yeah, there was a female, and I'm getting ready to find her name now. Shakoma. There was one of your kind, another Atladi warrior. Her name is Shakoma. She was a beastmaster, similarly to like you were. Mm-hmm. And she was the one that had that large wild boar that she named very ironically Rowdy. Mm-hmm. And you know that if she is still one of them that's out there, then there's a chance that you'll be able to find the ancient tomb of Draentondo. You remember that warrior's name, correct?
Correct.
And Draentondo is said to be the one buried alongside and is keeping this gift that you believe would be the weapon that could take down this creature. Roll a history check for me.
Eight.
Yes? Just an 8. You seem to get lost in thought for just a minute, as there's several different people on the ship that are now starting to pack up and get under as the rain has let up for just a minute. With that, some folks that were hiding underneath parts of sails, people that were hiding underneath ledges and things, take that opportunity to start moving underneath the ship and get their final rest. You would see Darius, Corey's character, making his way under decks. You would see Silowin packing up all her things. And you would see the very statuesque Brahmus, this living construct and possible symbol of something you've seen deep inside these jungles, standing out and watching once again off the front of the ship. With all that being said, and you just being very uncertain as to how to even begin to go out there and help them, you've been looking for a solution to this forever. And finding these ancient tombs, and finding this sacred weapon, this gift, is the only thing that you can fathom. But you don't know anything more about it than that. Mm-hmm. They're out there searching with very limited information. Okay? With that, you would see a tall, handsome man with a kind of a devilish charm come up to you, and is Aeolus, the captain of the ship. Okay? As he looks out in the distance and hears the different roaring breaking through the sheets of rain that were coming down, now it seems to be silenced a little bit. He looks at you and he says, Well, and he's nervously trying to convince you of something, Kiltusk. As he looks you up and down, he goes, I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they take cover just like anyone with common sense would while they're out there. Um, even monsters have to rest, right? And he kind of holds a finger and points at you, kind of humorously. What is Kiltusk saying to him in this moment as he's trying to lighten the mood and reassure you that they're going to be okay for the night. He's not doing a very good job of convincing you of this because of a natural 6. You can tell he doesn't quite believe it himself. What are you saying, Kiltusk?
How long have this like group of 5 been on this island again?
We're gonna say, and did you read up on that stuff a little bit while I was going through the other 2 guys?
Yeah, I did.
We're gonna say that that the lizard folk, or the name that I've given him there, this all happened at least 2 or 3 months ago. And a lot of the Outlaty warriors, which were kind of scarce now that there's a big division between religious ideals and stuff from the main city, it's been at least 2 months.
Okay.
And you know that they know how to camp, they know how to survive, know how to stay safe. But if the numbers dwindling the way they are, you're just one band of these Outlaty warrior. You hope there are other ones left out there somewhere. But you can't be sure anymore.
I want to say in the sight of, even though Kiltusk might consider him an outsider, even though seeing how he used to believe how they might feel about themselves and like always feel like that they're the high power than maybe the natives of this island, including me.
Okay.
So like out of like, I want to say pity, instead of like trying to like throw him down even more, Kiltusk will be generous and believe, like try to show he believes, or like just kind of convinced by him saying that they might have just taken cover and that they might be all right.
Okay. Okay. Roll me. Do you believe what you're saying to be true? How do you feel in your heart about that, bud?
Since they've been there for 2 months, I want to say he at least wants to believe it, even though they have only been there for a short period of time. That they could have gotten used to lizard folk and maybe like how they know
Okay. Roll me a
how they're
performance check.
talking. Well, what?
A performance check, please. Or deception. Performance deception.
So 19.
Is 19 the base of it plus things?
Yeah, 19's the base.
Okay, that's enough. That'll work.
Okay.
He sees you say this strongly back to him, which you can see him raise his eyebrows in a bit of surprise. He didn't quite believe what he was selling, and you come back with that kind of comment. You know, you believe they will be safe. They know how to survive out there. They found places, and he looks to be a little bit impressed by your will and determination. Okay. With that, he gives you a look up and down, and he can see that you're hungry. He can see that you haven't been treating yourself very well lately with just taking the rations and things that you can from hunting and things out there in the wilds with no major home. He says to you as he puts a hand on your shoulder and extends his arm out to beneath decks. He says, "If you would wish, we could have a meal prepared for you below decks out of this rain. I don't know how you people keep from getting colds." He says, "But please, just the least I could do. You helped me keep the Lylung in one piece after all." And he kind of taps his foot, hardly the heel of his boot, on the thick wooden floor of the ship. He looks at you and goes, "The least I could do is give you something already prepared for a change." As he looks at you and looks at your ribs and the outfit that you have on. Are you currently wearing one of your panachos, or do you have it taken off?
I want to say with Kiltusk, like, that he has it on right now, because I know he had it on when he was climbing up above the ship
Yeah.
to see who all came on that ship. So I want to say, like, he accepts the invitation to go inside.
Okay.
But as he goes inside, he takes his pancho off.
Okay. As you do, and you place it and hang it around a series of belts and straps that you have around your waist that connects the bottom part of your custom-made armor from your top, and it hangs almost like a sash down from the side. It's the equivalent of the 90s grunge guys tying the flannel jackets around their waist. It's practically what it is. As you do, and Aeolus walks that direction, he kind of leads you and escorts you into the lower part of the ship. You've never been inside of a ship like this. The only kind of things you have are just kind of like canoes, maybe things that have some kind of shelter on top of them, but nothing this extravagant. And as you go down in here, this looks like a temple that sails. The craftsmanship, the imagery of these great lizards, they're not like any kind of lizards that you've seen around here. They're not dinosaurs. They're a little bit more flamboyant. They're a little bit more dreamlike. The imagery and the way this place is carved and the way things look in here. You can't believe that wood can be manipulated to look like this. This is, you just feeling things and seeing the polish and the perfection of the way this ship is crafted is mesmerizing to you to a degree. Just for the hell of it, I'd like for you to roll a charisma check, just to see how awestruck and dumbfounded you are by this vessel as he's trying to usher you down below to get you a meal.
7. Total
Okay,
7.
you are definitely stopping at different moments, and he just kind of goes, there'll be plenty of that for that tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get some food in you, huh? Come on. And he continues to usher you down into the lower part of this. Now, are you okay with going down in there? Maybe you want to be underneath the stars. Maybe you're too worried about your people and this isn't something you would do. Go ahead, and this is your chance to tell me. Are you going along with this and getting a free meal? Or are you wanting to stay up top?
Knowing how he has been eating for the past few months, he feels like it's a good thing to have like a good sized meal.
Okay.
But he wants to be like have the meal and get back out there so he can like be out under the stars like he normally is.
Okay. That's cool. It's a nice
And
compromise.
it's like,
okay. Well, with that then, as you go down underneath there, we're going to go ahead and go back to Corey. You went in there, you were just now getting ready to head in there as the door once again opens behind you, Corey, and you see Aeolus ushering in this tribesman, this Atlati warrior from these islands. He would be looking around, mesmerized by the woodwork and carving. It's almost like he's walking into a man-made cave as he's looking around this place. From your initial look at him, Corey, he, as primitive as this place seems to be, there is fine detail and purpose in this particular person. He seems to have a headdress that is connected to his side that resembles a large prehistoric bird. And the craftsmanship to this thing, to a bard and a person that understands fine things, you're not even quite sure how he made this. And that surprises you. Because where you're from, you've never, you would have never stayed the night in a place like this. You would have never been amongst these people, Darius. But there is a purpose to him. Their way of thinking here everything has a use. There's no flash or anything on him. He is a creature of substance, practically. And as he walks down in this, and you are just now getting ready to head into the bar, your mind is also heavy with the thought of you have to talk to her the next morning. You know what I mean? With that, I know you like to speak a little bit. I'll give you a chance to interact with Kiltusk, or you can head on into this place. You could talk to Aeolus. He's here too. And I have a couple NPCs that would be in mind that would be inside of this, the dragon's belly, once you decide to go in, Corey. I'll let you kind of lead the charge here.
I mean, so you're saying Darius hasn't gone in yet?
No, I just had you walking back up the hallway after you had that conversation of Tamyra, and the last thing I think we said was like, now you have an excuse to drink.
Okay,
so maybe you're not even heading in there. You were before, but maybe your conversation with her has changed things, and we'll change that as we need. You guys are right here in like the foyer area as the steps come down. You were heading to that place. Just tell me what's going on.
I mean, I'd imagine Darius is very heavy in thought. So while he might look over and kind of notice these things about this newcomer, he wouldn't necessarily pay too much mind or attention to it. He's definitely his first thought is to kind of sit down, relax, pull his book out, and kind of thumb through it. So I'd imagine he would go in to the bar and find a table and grab a drink, find a table and sit down, pull his lyrical book out, and immediately flip straight to the missing pages, and kind of anyone that would pay attention to him would kind of see him kind of going back and forth between the last page before the torn pages and then the torn pages, and kind of like very distraught, and he's kind of going back and forth, and like he's racking his brain trying to see, plan B. If this chick doesn't have these papers, what other options does he have? So I guess he would be kind of head down and just intuitively kind of have his what is it, a lute?
Violin.
Violin. Kind of have it, but he's not playing it. He's more like picking at it, kind of like almost like you would like a guitar. So it's like sitting on the table. He's got his left hand flipping back and forth between, and he's just kind of like picking ever so slightly at the violin.
That gives me plenty to describe to him what you're doing. Thank you very much for that. As you head into this place, Aeolus ushers past you and heads through a back door of this place. There's a large, like a corner bar. I misspoke. It's probably going to be about 6 by 6 as far as the space behind it. It is in the corner of this place, and a large mast or a structure that would hold up this place, a beam, comes up through, and it has lanterns hanging off us, very well-crafted bronze and iron ones that seem to glow of a unnatural light. These aren't just regular flames. This is magically lit, which is something you're not too familiar with. That usually, if people are going to do a bonfire and do these kind of ceremonies, those are magically lit to begin with from where you're from, Kiltusk, but not used in such a minute way. This is an awful use of power to just see a little bit inside of a wooden cave that floats on the water. Okay, and as you see him go back there, you would see Darius's character, Jeremy's Corey's character, sitting there, fiddling and looking through a book. You'd see his mouth moving and maybe the whisper of a couple words, as maybe he's trying to remember something or fill in a void of something he's forgotten. When you walk into this place, Aeolus holds his hand out and he looks at you for just a minute, Darius, and he says to Kiltusk, he goes, "Plenty of places to sit here. Enjoy yourselves and play nice, please. Yes, I will be right back with something for the both of you. I enjoy a challenge. Give me just a few moments, if you would, please." And he looks over and he says, "Dantas, please get these two something to have to warm them up for whatever it is I concoct." When he says that, a dwarf that was over in the side that was cleaning a 3-barreled pistol that is like that long but that big around. This is literally a hand cannon. Looks over at the two of you. This is a very coarse crimson, red-haired, wild-looking dwarf with wild eyes and a beard that has pointed mustache that's been waxed and kept up. He has a thick leather vest on and a pirate shirt that is sewn in the front with the big frills around the neck. He has all kinds of mechanisms on him, what looks to you, Corey, like mechan, which is the word Ulran uses for anything mechanical or an ancient knowledge of that of the gnomes. He has reeks of gunpowder and burnt soot, as he has dark spots on him. He was the one that was up on the bow of the ship that was trying to man the cannons and stuff like that previously. He is the gunner on this ship, if there were such a thing. He's extraordinarily gruff in his voice, and as he is finishing cleaning up that thing, he just kind of looks over and cocks an eyebrow over in your direction, Kiltusk. Corey, I'm not going to say you notice him much because you're studying. Okay? With that, he walks across and he waddles a bit. Kiltusk, you know what it's like when you see a warrior that has been injured, and he has a severe limp. You know that he would probably be better suited for staying back and taking care of the women and children than going out on the big hunts. He would not be suited for it. As he waddles his way across there, he grabs a bottle that looks large to him, not so much to you. And he walks it over and just sits it down in between the two of you. It's a dark green bottle, and what comes out of it smells extremely strong to you, Kiltusk. You're used to a little bit more natural kind of things. This has a very perfumey smell to it, different than anything you're used to drinking. And he lays that down and he goes, "You're going to have to try some of that and see what you think of it. It does a job. You know, it's not the best stuff, but, what do you expect out here?" He gets lost for a minute as he's looking at you, Kiltusk. He looks up and down. That's supposed to be a bird or something? What I don't get it. And he's just kind of curious about you. He's looking you up and down. You find it strange. He's almost like a kid, looking you up and down with that kind of curiosity. What is it that you say to him, Kiltusk?
I believe that Kiltusk will try and not to feel offended because this character may not know about the challenges that Kiltusk has been facing on these islands. So he answers the question by saying, "Yes, it's a bird." and it's the bird that has divided my tribe and have killed so many.
He looks at it, and he looks at you for a long minute. He goes, I noticed you were, you're looking at those lanterns over there. Raises his eyebrow sarcastically. Pretty impressive, right? Right? And he kind of nudges your chair. And he's looking at you, and he's like willing you to agree with him. And he's shaking his head of his eyebrows up. What do you say?
With Kiltusk, like, being new to the ship and not having seen anything like this, I would believe he would agree in saying that they're pretty impressive.
As you do, he reaches into his pouch, and he grabs 2 shot glasses. And he sits them down on the table hard. And he looks at you with wide eyes for a minute, and he kind of narrows them. I think I got something you might like. Check this out. He's real excited. In his left hand, he pulls out, and he has a bit of what looks like a fine, dark charcoal-like powder. It's extraordinarily fine. And he takes it, and he holds it from his hand, and he holds the 2 shot glasses there, and he goes, you know how to pour a drink? Pour some stuff in there, however much you think you can handle. They're little glasses for a reason, so, try to use your head on this one. How full are you filling the glasses?
Is this with the green bottle that was put in?
Yeah, and there's 2 good-sized shot glasses laying down now that he seems to have pulled out of one of those compartments on his leather vest that has all those tinkerer tools and shit like that on it.
Knowing how this is a new place for Kiltusk, and knowing how this smells stronger, I would say, than what he's been used to, I want to say he pours maybe 1/4 of the shot glass.
Okay. He looks at you. He says, I thought he said you were hungry and thirsty. He goes, let me just put it this way. He looks you up and down. And he goes, I might be half of you. Fill mine up. He winks at you and grins. So he obviously wants more in his cup. And he's kind of, he's just kind of swelling up and trying to be impressive to you here. So do you choose to pour his fuller and leave yours where it is?
Yes, I agree to fill his up more. And
Okay.
I'll leave mine the way it is, not knowing
And you leave
what's
yours
really
where
in the
it is.
bottle.
Smart. As you do that, he looks at you and he reaches back on his head and he has a pair of these goggles that he wears up over top that kind of part this large canyon in this mess of red hair that he has. It's really crimson and dark. And he goes to pull them down over his eyes like this, and he's grinning. He's nothing but all teeth and that mustache and that nose sticking out. And before he puts them on, he stops. He looks at you and goes, and he looks at the feathers and shit on your panacho. And he looks at you and he goes, I want to step back just a little bit. I haven't done this in a while. Yeah, it's going to be great. He takes it and snaps them and puts them over his eyes. And he's got he looks like to you, looks like a prehistoric fish. He's got these big goggled glass things on his head, and his eyes are real big, kind of crazy looking. And as he does, he takes that black powder, and he takes it and blows it, and blows a dusting of it. And it seems to just barely settle like dust would settle on top of a pond of water on top of the 2 drinks. And as he does, he walks over there and he grabs that pistol. He's like, I love this part. And he takes it and he pulls back the flintlock to it and he holds it down there beside the drinks and he goes, and he click. And you hear 3 different clicks as there's 3 what look like little hammers like you would imagine someone would use in a mine. Just go click, click, click. And as they do, sparks fly off of them. You recognize this. Do an investigation check for me right off the top.
17.
Okay, seems to be some kind of like flint like stuff going on here. You know, and you've seen people, you've made the arrowheads, you've started the fires, you understand, and for him to have such a primitive concept on something that looks so shiny and foreign to you is there's a familiarity there, but it's very strange. You know what I mean? As technical as these people think they are with the big glass goggles and all the intricate things, at the end of the day, he's just smacking stones together, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really funny for you to see that. And as he does, it engulfs the top of these two drinks, and a blue, red, and orange flame shoots up like two little jet streams real quick, and then they settle back down, and there's a constant glow on top of the drinks. And he looks at you, and he pulls back the goggles. He goes, "That went better than I thought it would. It's not a bonfire, but I figured it'd be it's the closest one I could get for you. Enjoy that, man." And he grabs his and he holds it up and he looks at you for a minute. And he licks his mustache. You gotta guess it's so it doesn't catch on fire. And he slams that sucker back. The flames whip around his mustache real quick and then go out real quick. And as he does, he smacks his mouth like that real quick, and it makes a popping sound. Like he's doing some kind of sound effect of his mouth, you know what I mean? And he, like that, and looks at you, and he sits back and goes, "How you going to do it?" And he's watching you like a little kid again. He wants to see you take this flaming drink. You bet you've never drank a bonfire before, have you?
Mm.
He's getting a complete kick out of this shit.
I want to say Kiltusk takes it. He will take it.
Roll a dexterity check. I want to see how you do. I don't know if we need to drop and roll or what happens here, how you choose to do this. I've watched YouTube, and I've seen this shit go bad before, Colby. Yeah, Jeremy's like, I have too. What'd you get?
21.
Okay. So, in doing this, your skin is thick. You are tough. You're used to climbing up trees. You're the guy in the video that climbs up the trees, grabs the beehive, and is looking at the honey and shit, and the bees don't even bug you. You know, you're that fucking guy. And as you're doing this, wham, and it does, and I'm going to say a little bit of the flame kind of catches on the side of your cheek for a minute, and you just kind of look at him and put it out. Doesn't phase you. And when you do it, he goes, "Oh, yeah, that's how you do that." And he holds his glass up and he clinks it against yours real quick. You don't know if he's being offensive or sarcastic or what the hell exactly that is, but he seems to be smiling even bigger that he did it. He goes, "We'll do another one." Corey, at any moment, Darius is kind of hearing this in the background, and when you saw him pull up the gun and the flint, if you want to react to this or interject at any time and let that pull you away from the book, you're more than welcome to. And if not, I'll continue forward. Things to think about. Up to you.
I mean, hearing, so you're saying I hear it go off?
Absolutely. I mean, you guys sit in the same table.
Yeah.
And it's like the coffee shop. When you see the guys at Starbucks and they're reading their magazines, they just don't seem like they want to pay attention to shit. But this would be hard to ignore, so you can choose to try to ignore it and just be like, distraction or whatnot, or you can interact. I'm just giving you the opportunity. It's whatever you want to do.
Wait, who fired it?
Dauntus is the name of this gunner dwarf. He works on the ship, and he's the one that put this black powder thing on top of these two shots. He pulled back the flint from all three of the big barrels on this hand cannon he has, and he lit them off, and it made these little jets of flame. And then they both were taking like flaming shots over here at the table.
Right. Okay, I got you. Yeah. So I mean, once like the I assume like it's like that's kind of, and then there's like a little bit of an explosion at the end, a little bit of a pop,
poof, some smoke, shit like that.
Yeah. I imagine. How close are they to Darius?
4 foot.
Oh fuck.
Right.
So
D10s don't lie. D10s don't lie.
As the poof happens, I imagine like Darius kind of like grabs the book and like puts it close to his chest, and he's just like he kind of looks up real quick to see, you know, because he caught like that glimpse of that flame real quick, and you know, like his
book is right there. Yeah,
and his book's right there, and he's kind of like he grabs it and immediately he kind of like you know, says a few words of cursory towards you know, the dwarf, and then stops for a second, and like you just see him like kind of holding his book, and he's kind of like not like he's just like, excuse me, I don't mean
roll a 1d4 for me, Corey.
That's a 2.
Add that to your number, and then please continue.
Okay. This is a very precious book to me, and I could not. I understand you're here to have a good time, have fun, drinks. It's wonderful, but please, just be careful.
Dantus looks over at you and pushes the 2 glasses to his side and reaches down and twirls one between his fingers masterfully and sits one in front of you. And he looks at you and says, I'm not exactly here to have fun, but as long as my heart's beating, I'm sure as fuck gonna have it. You should too. And he goes, what was your name again? And he's talking to you, Kiltusk.
So like everybody can know what he speaks like again. It's in like a deep but in tough voice. Like since I want to say like Tarzan when he first talks to Jane. And
okay, I'm with you.
Movie,
okay,
like that. And he says Kiltusk.
Okay. And he looks at you and he kind of, right, kill Tusk. Got it. You don't know his sarcasm exactly. Darius, you'd pick up on. He's making kind of a joke at the foreigner's expense. As he... Go ahead, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say Darius kind of, you know, would follow through with that, kind of like with a slight snicker, as he like slides his book into his journal. He kind of like, Darius, looking at Kiltusk.
Okay. So you guys have got your names. With that, the door comes open from the back of the bar, and it's Aeolus with food. And he comes, all right then, here we go. Dantus, clear this ridiculousness away. Kiltusk, do you pour a drink for Corey out of that bottle that's sitting beside you? Dantus would mention to you not to pour him one as weak and feeble as the one you poured yourself. As everyone seems to be, as he seems to stand up and push the shot glasses over to the side, making room for the food that Aeolus is bringing to the table. What size drink do you pour, Darius?
I'll help you out there. As you begin to pour it, like as you get to a point where you might stop, Darius just kind of like he kind of like reaches out and taps the bottom of it a little bit to get some more out.
Okay. So everyone's walking around here pretty big britches, Kiltusk, is what we're getting at.
Yeah.
This thing holds the equivalent of 3 normal shots. Okay.
And he's like looking at you too as he does it with a smile. He's just like, a little more.
Right on. As that happens, it seems like what they have brought out is somewhat of a treat. Now, for you, Kiltusk, this is a little bit strange, but what this is some kind of bird that has been plucked and roasted. And inside of it seems to be some kind of stuffing and apples and pears. And along the sides of it seem to be dried up fruits. Now, you're not used to things being this eccentric or this sweet or this aromatic smelling, but this smells ridiculous. It makes you naturally look around like you think it's foolish to have food that smells this strong because it could draw things to it. You know what I mean? But here it is, and it looks fucking glorious. I'm not talking a Thanksgiving turkey. I'm talking like a hen or something like that, but you've not seen things done like this before. And it was done very, very well with a nice roll there. With that, Aeolus as well, I'll just leave you 3 to it. And please be sure to share. We don't know how long we're going to be here, so look at this as a one-time only kind of meal until we either find something else to eat or maybe someone uses that bow and gets us something else. And he's looking at that bow that you have on your back. He goes, until then, 3 o'clock in the morning, someone needs to head into the woods at light, so do use some caution. And he looks at Dauntus and stares at him intently. And Dauntus just kind of covers his eyes and nods and looks the other direction. He's not thinking it pertains to him at all. With that, he leaves. And I will fast forward just a little bit here unless someone wants to intervene. But I will say you all partake and eat into this. It was made very well. You can interpret how you enjoy it on your own personal parts. But there's one particular thing I want to make a point about here during this meal. As you're doing this, Kiltusk, and you're watching Dauntus get into this and eat, and he eats somewhat of like a slob, more even viciously than some of your people do as they're out there hunting. He's kind of grotesque about the way he eats, and he's all about the food and smiles and has some on his beard. He's not the most well-kept thing. And as you're in here, and you every once in a while hear the distant roar of a creature, or the distance, every once in a while you'll hear the splash on the side of the ship, reminding you that we're only under the illusion of safety here inside of this wooden vessel. You see him tearing into these pieces of meat with his teeth and wiping off things, and you'll hear another distant roar out there. And I want you to roll me a charisma check, please. 1d20 plus your charisma bonus, and just tell me what you get.
14.
DC was 15, so you just barely failed. Okay, because this would have been harder than just an average thing for you to overcome. Okay, the urge for you to get back out there becomes overwhelming. Now, the nature of how you do it is completely up to you. But as you sit here inside this place and you kind of see him tearing at this bird and eating at it, and you would see Corey's character breaking some of the bones and Darius taking to it. Darius, do you have what are your mannerisms when you eat typically, if you had to make something up here?
I mean, I wouldn't. He's not like a fancy, fork and knife kind of eater. But he's
collar.
not like, he's not gonna tear in, hands, and if there's forks, he'll use it. If there's no forks, he'll make do.
Okay. And just as you're watching them and as they're breaking the bones and going through and eating this, and you're hearing the distant sounds, you don't have time to wait. You need to get out there and make sure that these 3 survivors know that you're around. Least of all, or the most importantly, Shakoma, the female that is one of the greatest of the Atlati warriors that's out there. Her and Rowdy, the dire boar. And as you sit there and you go through and you eat a little bit of this stuff, you would be prompted to leave because of that roll, to go in search of whoever's out there, who's left. You know what I mean? You've helped them, you've taken care of their issue, but you have more pressing matters now. So what I'd like to do is this. We're going to take a 15-minute break, okay? And when I pause the video, we'll do like a 5-minute conversation here, and we'll talk about the way in which, and this is just me trying to create something so the players here tonight can get together and be a part of something. Kind of like Corey mentioned earlier, a search party, a scout party. I'm just trying to create theatrics to make that make sense, instead of like, hey, the three of you meet, and there you go. Okay? So with that, I'll go ahead and pause this, and then we'll return in 15, and we'll see what Kiltusk decides to do here and how he goes about doing it. Okay, we'll see you here in just a moment. Okay, we're back from our break. Had a chance to bullshit about a couple things. I'd like to start with you, Mirk, on the front of the ship. Okay? You know, it's a long way until light hits this place. We're talking about 4 o'clock in the morning now. You've still got some hours, and with the rain still going up and down and fluctuating, it's come over this place, this large storm, the light would definitely be an extra hour off. Okay? And as you have this memory and this thought, you go back to your windows and you realize that you've been kind of self-absorbed for the last couple of moments in this piece of a memory. And with that, you would probably make haste to get back to the watchtower that is Brahmus. Okay? As you do that, roll me a perception check.
With advantage because I have a new beard.
Yes.
Oh, well, it's dirty 21, so.
Okay, yeah. You found another D20 in your new beard. Wow. Way to abuse the DM. I'm glad that worked out for you.
I didn't even have to roll a second one, so it's all good.
Whatever. Don't patronize me, sir. It's all good. So, with your dirty 21, you notice in the distance trees move. Probably about 25 yards into the forest line, and it's neat as you stare out over the ship with the rain, which is now still at a very medium pace, a very heavy, steady drizzle of it. It's enough to cover your windshield. It's that kind of rain, that piss get you mad kind of rain, right? And as you look out in the distance, you can see big wafts of wind that take all the top of these tropical trees in this forest that move in and bend it in waves. And you know how it is, the underneath of these great leaves is usually a little bit lighter color than the top. And you see swaying oceans of the canopy of these trees. And then out of that, you see something that's a little different. You see some shake. You see a flock of colorful birds that look great in the night air. Come out and the moonlight strikes them just right as they take off in a bit of a panic with a 21. It seems like something is making its way towards the beach. What is it that you're doing? I'd say 50 yards out, half a football field away from reaching the edge of the black sands.
And it's very obvious that it is making its way our direction.
I wouldn't say it's so much your direction as it's just getting out of the woods or coming that direction. It doesn't seem like it's making a beeline for you. It seems to be making a beeline out.
I think he would get in a position to where he could act quickly. He'd go ahead and have his sword out. Everything else, just kind of watching to see what happened.
Okay. As you draw your sword, Kiltusk, while this is going on, tell me about where you had your where Loki was going to be located, where he was going to be while you were on the ship doing these things. Would you like me to make something up, or would you like to tell me specifically what he was doing?
I wanted to say I had him making making his patrols I would say on and off the ship, just periodically be either on or off. So if something's off the ship and you can't see it, you can just jump down there.
Would Brahmus have seen Loki?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
I want to say there would also been periodically where he would gone farther out of the shore, probably more to the tree line, just in case we needed to.
So, as you're down in this ship, you feel something very familiar, Kiltusk. You and your creature have a unique connection, and you've seen that, okay? Now, I'm going to touch on something that is an ability that you will have moving up in levels, and I'm going to give you a little taste of it for here. Just a generic little version of it, something to move forward towards, okay? As you were doing this, you get flashes, as if you are gazing through the eyes of Loki. You can feel your heart race, and you believe you feel that hypered awareness starting to almost kind of force itself on you based on the alertness, panic, or whatever this is coming from Loki. Alright? And as you do, you see flashes of the wood line from standing in the water. You can feel that he's standing in there, and you can feel the blood in your own mouth as he has been eating fish up along the banks and fishing here in the night, and every once in a while a flash of lightning would show the image of a fish going close and shallow. He was snapping in and grabbing them. And you hear this sound. I would like for you to do me a history check, please. Coming from the woodline, as Loki's head snaps up, and all of a sudden your eyes become his for just a brief moment.
Eight.
Okay, just an 8. You hear something feral coming from the wood line, and then all of a sudden you can hear against the rain that's not so heavy pouring out there, and between the snapping of bones and the eating and these guys tearing at this stuff, reminding you of dinosaurs tearing into possibly your friends. And that's the emotion that them eating this meal in front of you is kind of triggered in this moment. You with me, Colby? Mm-hmm. That's what kind of pulled you into thinking like they're in trouble out there. And now then you hear the krill and the shriek of Loki. Just ever so slightly. Out on the bank. And that flash that you got just a minute ago lets you know that something is going on that needs your attention. What is it that you're doing?
I guess not to startle anybody, especially after what just happened. You would calmly and politely just leave the table and start to head out back up on deck.
Okay. Roll a performance or deception, you pick.
I'm gonna do perception because I have
okay
in that. $18.
Corey, he gets up from the table, looking distant after he's had some food, but not as much as you would think a hungry person should. He just begins to make his way out of here. And in the middle of that, you can hear Aeolus mixing drinks and ice cubes being mixed in a container behind the bar in the distance. And I would like for you also, Darius, to roll me a perception check.
Soft 20.
You hear something very faintly that sounds like this Allosaurus-like creature that he had. You would imagine that he's going to that, but he does not seem to be alarmed at all. But you've heard some kind of bark, if you will, some kind of minute roar, or some kind of identifying sound that the creature has made to the outside of the ship that has made him get up and walk that direction. What is it that you are doing?
I mean, he's just walking there. He's not like...
He just said he's going very nonchalantly. He doesn't want to draw attention to himself.
I mean,
That's
I guess...
why he's going easy.
I guess as, like, I would assume, you know, I hear that and I kind of look back as I'm, like, taking a sip of my drink. And then I turn back as he's getting up and leaving, and I'm like...
Roll an insight check.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
DC's 18.
That one.
Maybe he's got to take a leak.
Right, yeah. So, like, I'm not quite putting two and two together. So I would say that, like, as he walks away, I would look over at Aeolus, kind of stand up, walk over towards him, and
He was concerned at him walking out the door and you coming up, and he would meet you and say, "That didn't take long. I could have swore from the look of his ribcage he was going to eat more than that." Heading back out into the rain. You can't take Mother Nature away from her children. He's just shaking a drink.
Yeah, like, so I would kind of look back at Kiltusk as he's like walking out. I must have offended him. Maybe one of my jokes didn't come across well. But was that not his creature making that noise? Should we not be alarmed?
He looks at you for a minute. He did not hear any kind of noise, and he looks at you a little bit puzzled for a minute. He goes, "Did you hear something?"
I heard what sounded like that creature that was with him. It sounded like a screech or a yell of sorts. I don't know, maybe an alarm.
Dantus, for God's sake, don't stuff yourself. Give the shoreline a look and check on our companion, please, if you would. Dantus, right in the middle of taking a bite, looks up and takes it, puts it down on the plate, and half the meat's hanging off his face. He just kind of shoves it back up in there with his palm and finishes up and says, "Yeah, I'll go out. I'm glad I'm one of your favorites."
I want to just interject on that scene ever so slightly.
Yeah.
I would imagine, so out of character, like, Darius is obviously trying to get on Aeolus's good side because he has a vibe that this dude has more information that he's letting out, and he's
Absolutely.
like, I need to get on this guy's good side. So as he sees the dwarf's look of like, really, bro, like, I'm fucking eating here, like, give me a hot minute to take a break, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that, excuse me, that as he goes to put the sandwich down, Darius would just put a hand up like, no, I can go check.
As that happens, he was getting ready to get up, and he goes, there you see, he's got it taken care of. He's going to fit in just fine, he says, and he takes another drink and pours himself one. He goes, and he looks at the bottle, and he swashes around. There's not a lot left in there, and he goes, I'll save you one for when you get back. And he sits
So-
it down on there, and he goes back to eating and just loving life.
So Darius would just kind of look at Aeolus, give him a nod, walk by the dwarf, actually grab the bottle, down it, and then pat the dwarf on the shoulder as he walks.
Now's the time. I get it. I like him. He's all right. And he continues to eat and stuff like that. As you walk out the door that is just now being almost starting to close from where Kiltusk went out into it. Kiltusk, you walk up onto the deck of the ship, and the rain is sleeting down at an angle, but it's light, but it's thick, and it's covering you, and you're squinting your eyes to a certain degree. Where is it you're looking? Are you searching the tree line? What is it? Where are you going at this point, now that you're above deck? Or on deck?
Did you say, like, I got a glimpse of what Loki was seeing?
You saw the tree line moving. You saw him drop the fish that he was fishing for, and he looked towards the tree line and seemed to zoom in on, almost like an Alfred Hitchcock movie, where the background seems to go one direction and in the middle seems to come towards you. And he kind of has a tunnel vision on a grouping of shadowed trees. Are you trying to locate that area? Or
Yeah,
are you looking
I'm
for
like
something
trying to
else?
see, like, I was like trying to think if I was able to see exactly where Loki was at in that glimpse, so I know where to look at exactly.
Okay. As you do me a perception check with advantage because Loki saw it also, and you have a clue as to where you're going here.
Nat 20, first roll.
Nat 20. I like it. With that, you look over to the side, and all of a sudden you can feel your heart start to pound. You instinctively start looking around the ship as a way to dive off or find a place to shoot from for cover. You just find yourself going into your hunter awareness. And as you look out, you hear a loud feral squeal. It's like, like that kind of, right? And you're not quite sure. And as you do, you see a lightning flash off in the distance, and you see the two large tusks of a dire boar that seems to be at least 8.5 foot tall at the shoulder, very heavily muscled on the front, with war paint and things off of it running in the heavy rain of whites, blues, and reds, running out, just getting it, coming towards the shoreline, sand flowing everywhere, and attached to it are 3 displacer beasts that have its claws sunk deep into the rear haunches of it, trying to take it down. Kind of like the National Geographics where you see lions trying to kill the antelope and shit like that. That's what's going on the shoreline. You immediately recognize this boar as Rowdy. And you also recognize in that moment, as your heart sinks a little bit, that Shakoma is not around. What do you do? You see this too, Brahmus, on the front of the ship. What do you do, sir?
Um,
Little wildlife for you today.
I guess for like knowing that I know the boar and who it belongs to, I guess I would like try to get rid of those displacer beasts off of it,
Okay.
so we can like, I guess, like heal the boar and like try to find what's her name? I had it in wing.
Shakoma. Shakoma.
Yeah, so I guess we can like treat the boar and if we can get the beast off successfully, and like try to find Tukima. All right.
Sha, and then
Sha.
Koma. Koma.
Coma. That's Coma.
Yep.
Okay. I think I should get it now.
You should write it down, is what you should do. Corey's like, rookie. He's just shaking his head, giving you.
Just call it Shakala.
Yeah. Or Shaka Khan. You know, whatever works. Shaka Khan.
We were all
JK?
rookies at one point. It's okay.
It's all good.
That's what?
He said you're doing a great job.
I was asking for the spelling, man.
I know, you're like, I didn't ask for homework, Brian Cons. I didn't ask for homework. It's all good, buddy. This is Sunday, for God's sake. It's all good, buddy.
I came to roll dice and get my ass kicked in a fight.
Looks like we're almost out of dice.
My dice beat me up enough already.
It's all good, man. It's all good. So, what's her name?
Shakoma.
You are worthy, sir. All right. So,
And I only have the S on here.
see, there you go. He's like, I'm writing down one letter, you bastard. I'm not giving in. So, you have options. You are wanting to. You said you're wanting to deal with the displacer beast. You are quite a bit away, and since I don't have this just prepared, we're coming up with this. We're doing Theater of the Mind, everybody, which is fun to do that sometimes. I can't have everything in a 2.5 hour long detailed map, so we're just going to go for this. Okay? So, the ship is into the sand, but it's still 10 foot down the water. When you're beach, you know, the ship's still in the water. So I'm going to say you are at least 30 to 40 foot of water you'd have to track through to get to the actual standing beach line. Okay? And then with the rain and storm like this, it's hard to shoot at the creature like this. You know that you've taught Loki how to move in ways where you can hunt around him. Rowdy, at the moment, doesn't give a shit about any of that. He's got displacer beasts trying to eat his ass. Okay? So he is shuffling around and spinning those tusks and so one up here, and it lashes onto here, and he's swinging his head around and shit. And you can't get a real good definite shot. If you would, there'll be disadvantage to make sure you don't hit him instead of one of them from this distance.
Okay.
You also have control over Loki, which is out there, I'm going to say, standing in knee-high water for a Allosaurus. And I'm going to say he is equally... roll me 2d20, Jeremy.
$24.
24 up into the beach is where he would have to go to get to them. The tree line is going to be roughly 70 foot from the edge of the water to the tree line. So I have it all drawn up here. R for Rowdy. Okay, that is what you would like to do. So, Corey, as you go up, you see him whip his head around. Darius, you see a Kiltusk whipping his head around, looking at things as you hear this squeal off in the distance that pierces through the storm. It seems to have his attention. Tell me some body language here, Kiltusk. What is it you're doing? Where are you scampering to? I'm going to let you kind of lead on this. Then I'm going to go to how Corey's helping. And then lastly, I'm going to see what Brahmus has to do with all this. Then we'll just move in that direction, see who gets close and what happens.
So you said Rowdy's headed for the shore, right?
Well, now that he's ran out of the wood line and slid and the sand has flown, now he's about halfway between the wood line and the water line on the black sand beach, just throwing around and getting it with these things. What did I say? There was 3 connected to him? I'm going to stick with 3.
Okay.
And he's
Then
engaged.
I want to say I would like go like he will be like sort of rushing to the side that Rhodey's on, like so it can be closer. And I would guess he'd like be like in a steady stance to like fire his bow like more accurate and precise, especially with Rowdy moving around trying to get rid of these beasts.
So you're not hopping over and into the water. You're trying to run up the ship and get closer to the target.
Yes.
Now, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Is that what you're telling me? Because if you're moving, trying to get a good shot, that's about the only direction you could move, would be going towards the front of the ship, which is pulled into this. There's either that, there's jump over the side, there's take a moment and tell Loki what to do. Those are your three most apparent options, but the sky's the limit, dude. You've got spells, it's D&D, man. Have some fun with it. We're going to call it, so you're heading towards the front of the ship. Is that okay? Or is that your final answer?
So how far would I be from, I would say, like, from the ground if I do jump over?
If you jump over, the ship is at least 15 foot up out of the water. If you jump into the water, it's going to be over your head where you are currently standing. I'm going to put you at the front. And well, remember, you come out of those quarters, you're on the back of the ship. Or at least the back quarter of the ship. If you jumped over there, you'd have some swimming to do. It would make more sense to run up to the front of the ship and then hop over, where you can hit a lot more shallow water and get a better foothold quicker. Now that's just on first impressions of it. So I'll give you your first, and if what you're truly wanting to do is, do you want to get there, do you want to command Loki, or do you want to try to find a shot from where you're at?
I would say, like, I want him to...
Or do a call,
I feel like...
or cast a spell. I mean, really, I'm just trying to help you out and generalize,
Yeah. So I think I will move, like, further, like, farther from the ship so I can jump. Then I would jump over to get in more shallow water.
Okay, give me an athletics or acrobatics check, your decision.
I'm gonna do acrobatics.
Okay, tell me what you get.
14.
14, not the best. You're able, within this moment of time here, you're able to get up to the front of the ship, but because of the different ropes they're laying down, because of the rain, because you're trying to undo the bow, and you're kind of startled by all this, you're able to get up to the front of the ship, but you're not able to jump over on this turn. Is that what you're planning on doing next time around?
Yeah, I'll probably try to jump off the next round.
Okay, I will give you a free action if you would like to shout out something, either to one of the people on the ship. It could be Corey. Since you're running up that way, I'm going to say that you're able to see that Brahmus, this construct, has donned a sword out to the side as the moonlight shines off of it for just a moment, and he seems like he is noticing what's going on as well. I'm going to say you're within 20 foot of Brahmus. Okay, on that moment, Corey, you see him dash off across here, messing with his bow. What is it that you were shouting, Kiltusk? Do you want to have a communication with Brahmus, with Corey, or with your pet, with your beast?
Do I really know that Darius was coming after me?
You don't know that he was coming after you, but you saw him step out behind you, yes.
Okay. Well, that's what I meant. Like, if he was coming out with me.
let's just say Darius would have been like, as he was coming out, and you're like turning the corner to go up the stairs, he would have like, you know, yelled at you like, slow down, you know, so you would know he was coming your way.
Right. Which makes sense. What are you thinking, boss?
I guess. Yeah. So I'll shout out at Corey saying, like, hit, like it's a, like, I'm trying to think of like a good way.
If you want to, roll a charisma check, and the higher you roll, the better you communicate whatever it is you're trying to say. And that is okay. We can play it that way. It's perfectly fine, bud.
I don't know. This dice is not letting me roll a charisma though. Okay, so I gotta know. So I'll be like yelling at Darius here, yelling back at him as I'm going to the front of the ship, saying how the boar is a friend of mine's mount, and we need to help it.
So simply put, like in the Tarzan and Jane kind of vibe, you're like, you know, animal is friend.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, boar is friend, cat like
Stated.
creature not.
Gotcha.
Okay, what is your reaction to that once you hear this, sir?
I mean, Darius, you know, looking out. How far did you say the distance is specifically away?
From the back of the ship, you've got at least 60 foot to get up to the front of the ship where you could jump off and hit shallow water because you came out of the back part of the ship. And then you got 30 foot of water to get up to the shoreline where you could stand in sand. And then this thing from there is about 25 foot inland.
Perfect. All right. So in your mechanical world, Mr. DM,
we live in a mechanical world, and I am a mechanical girl.
Okay.
Yes.
I would like to, with that notion, I would like to run in that direction as much as needed to then activate the Shroud of the Tempest to instantly travel 60 foot in that direction.
Absolutely. And is that a bonus action to invoke that?
It says it requires one attack to activate.
That's all it is. So all you've got to do is take the shroud and do something flashy, and it's a small, so it's just one attack's worth of an action. It's a fraction of an action.
Okay. All right. So that's where he's gonna go, and then when it's that point, I'll describe what it.
So I'll say you can dash for 2 times your speed. Okay, and I will let you, once you get to the front of the ship as a bonus action, just for theatrics, I'll let you do that, and that's going to take you from the edge of the ship to right at the sand, because that's going to be your 60 or 70 for dashing, and then you're going to be
40 per.
Oh, so you get a total of 80. Oh, yeah. Wow. So you could get up right by the bow of the ship, right by Brahmus. And at that moment when you're there, if you want to have an interaction or say something quick to him, and then as you flip that shroud around, boom, you're there. You could practically be beside Rowdy on that beach with that 60 foot more movement you have that you can travel like wind. That's awesome.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so if all that's happening in a split second, I'll describe how it looks like.
Please do. That's cool.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So as I broach the top and I see Kiltusk, and Kiltusk notifies of the danger and the goal, you know, the first thing that passes through Darius's mind is the fact that this guy knows this area very well. So maybe get on this guy's good side for now. He might need, Darius might need him if he needs to get away from this boat, for example, if this boat's not going to get Darius where Darius needs to go. And so as Kiltusk says that, Darius begins to run in the direction of the edge of the boat, nodding in agreement to Kiltusk as he passes Brahmus, who I guess was closer to the edge than. I will pull my rapier out with my right arm as my left arm grabs the shroud, and Brahmus will watch as he hits the edge of the boat and dives like he's about to dive into the water and pulls the shroud over him. And you watch as the shroud, like you ever seen oh gosh, I think it's like the Harry Potters where they kind of teleport through the fucking.
I know what scene you're talking about. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. You got my attention.
It's like it's like you see the shroud kind of spin around him real quick, and you just see it go like, as you just see this big puff of air like rush in the direction of the boar. If the creatures that are chasing it aren't right on it, he's going to impose himself in between. I assume I won't have any attack actions at that point.
You won't, but this is more like a surprise round because you guys aren't in actual contest of one another. When we get up close, we're going to do some initiative if that's what y'all choose to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's going to be up close, aka he wants to impose himself in between the boar and the creatures chasing it.
So 1 and 2, there is one displacer beast still cling to it. 3 and 4, there's 2, and 5 or 6, all 3 are latched onto it. Okay. That's a 6. All 3 now, at this moment, as it's been happening, are latched into the boar. You can see dark bits of blood shooting out as these creatures are. And it's strange. I don't know about your experiences, but not just the claws are connected, but there's these large tentacles that seem to be flapping wildly and smacking onto the back of this thing, almost like an octopus and its little beaks and shit biting in. As Rowdy is so strong, it doesn't seem like it matters. The large muscled, inscribed tribally back of this dire boar is just thrashing back and forth wildly, and as it stops for a minute, it gives you a wide eye as it makes contact with you for just a minute, and is somewhat startled and puts its head down and shakes again. I'm going to roll Jeremy, roll a strength check for me, 1d20 and 1d4.
I forgot to mention also, I become a gust of wind and travel 60 foot instantly via the gust of wind spell, and then whatever I'm gusting at has to make a strength saving throw versus DC 20 plus my charisma modifier plus my proficiency bonus, or they get knocked back. So like the goal was to hit, like originally the goal was to hit them away from getting on him. So since they're on him, I want to hit all of them with the gust in the hopes of spreading them out.
Okay, perfect. So roll your 1d20 and tell me what your total DC is.
Come on, you. Okay. So,
not as high as he had hoped. It's all good.
No. Charisma modifier, so +4 plus my proficiency bonus,
which is 4.
So 8. So that would be an 18. That's not low.
That's not bad. Okay, Jeremy, roll me. I'm going to roll for Rowdy. Rowdy passes with a 24. So he is not stirred so much by this as he's in the sand and shooting back and forth. I'm going to say on that side of him, there's at least 2 displacer beasts that this wind could have hit. The other one's going to be too far back behind the creature. Jeremy, roll me 2 strength saving throws, 1d20 and a 1d4. Tell me what you get for displacer beast number 1.
16.
That's a fail. And let me get me the second check, please.
A 6.
That's definitely a fail. Okay, so does it talk about how far back the wind wall pushes them? 15?
Yeah, 15 foot. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to make it the full 15 for displacer beast number 1. I'm going to move him back 15 foot. And his claws come dislodged as you get and you see a flash of the the yellow eyes and the fangs. If you knew anything about Displacer Beast before, these are a much more feral, a little bit wilder haired looking lot. These are, you're getting syrup straight out of the tap here, sir. Okay? The second one passes, or fails, but it's not as bad. We're going to move him back 10 foot. Okay, I'm going to put him there. D2. And D3 is still connected. You are going to be right against the side of Rowdy now because the wind is you. You travel through it.
Mm-hmm.
And you are standing right beside where Displacer Beast number 2 was. So I'm going to put Darius.
We'll consider that an attack spell, right?
Absolutely, we will.
All right, because I got to add.
Okay, so you have got 2 of them off of Rowdy currently. And the other one still seems to be clinging on. Is there anything left that you can do on this opening surprise round?
I don't think so. Mm-mm.
Okay. Brahmus, since he jumped off there and he is engaged with the enemy at this point, and Kiltusk, since you ran up there and you are on the edge right now, it's going to be initiative. Do you guys want to do another half hour of this and get into it a little bit? Or do you want to open this up the next time we play? And I'll leave it up to you all.
I'd say might as well play this through, because otherwise then they're going to sit there for a while.
Well, and the thing is, too, like, let's say we get 1 or 2 rounds of this done. It's not completely complete. Who's to say if they don't wake up from the ruckus, and the next time we're playing, they come up and help and finish this off. So it works real good. I think we got a winner, guys. I think we're good. As long as you don't die. Don't die. Don't die. Okay. So, let's roll initiative. Write down some numbers here. When it comes to this, I will describe to you, I have a map drawn of how this, and that's a natural 20 screen. Just so you know, Colby, write that down. That's what it's like to roll a 20. Okay, it's all good. Let me go ahead and put Brahmus.
Especially on an initiative, I'm like, fuck, I'm in the thick of it. I need to get high.
Well, you get huge bonuses to initiative anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, Kiltusk. And
do you do any fancy stuff? Oh shit, I gotta roll because I'm in a nat 20. Fuck.
I can. It depends on what kind of fancy stuff you're looking for, sir. I've been known to do fancy stuff.
So I know, like in 3.5 or whatever, when you roll a nat 20 on initiative, you I think you get like advantage on the next. There was something fancy you got. I don't. 5e doesn't have it by default, but
yeah, I do not initially, but I will give you advantage on your first action on this turn because of that, and 1 is an automatic reroll.
Okay. And
that sounds fair, and I'm that kind of guy. Was it 20?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a 20 in total.
Nice.
Okay. A 20 in total. Let me go here just a minute. Kiltusk. 20. And yours was like, I'm just putting down first beside your name, Corey. I don't even want to know the bonuses. Jeremy, what'd you get?
Initiative on these sheets?
It is over beside your movement on the right-hand side, middle.
Oh,
first right-hand side, halfway down the sheet. What it
blank.
is, it's a proficiency bonus.
Okay.
Plus anything you have on the skill Foresight. If you have any skill points on Foresight, that gives you bonuses to initiative. And it also depends on the bonus of what you're trying to do on your turn. So if you're attacking, then you'd use your dexterity modifier. If you're casting a spell, it could be that modifier. It all just depends on what you're choosing to do on your turn.
Okay. So it'd be a 27 then.
And like I said, first.
Yeah.
What'd Brahmus get? Tell me things.
30-20.
30-20. Okay, let me get these guys out of the way here real quick.
I'd say Kiltusk could go before me because I'm sure he's got a much higher dex modifier than me.
Well, now, it's not about the size of your modifier, it's how you use it. Now, come on, Jeremy. Dude. Dude. Come on now. Give me some rolls. Jesus. That's not good at all. Okay, I got one more to check here. I'm going to do Rowdy.
Well, if you keep doing bad rolls, that's a good thing for us.
It is, but sucks for me. Okay, so order. Darius is first. Kiltusk is second. Brahmus will be third. And then we have other things that I'll tell you as we get there. All right. So, Flash Lightning, what are you choosing to do with your initiative? Ones don't count. Jumping the gun turn here, sir. You have become wind. You are looking like Dracula as you fly off the ship in a gust of wind. And you are up upon this thing. You've knocked two off. The one is 10 foot from you, and the other one is 15 foot from you. And you are on the lower back side of Rowdy, which has his tusks in the ground to withstand that gust of wind that just came at him. You cannot see the other one. You can just see a tentacle slapped over the back of this thing. You know there's a third one clinging on that's just out of sight because the large dire boar is blocking your view of it.
Right.
The boar takes up at least 10 to 15 feet of space. It's big.
So, just so people can picture it properly, I imagine like as the gust of wind hit the ground, like he did like what you would see fucking Twilight when when they're running real fast and they slow down and you see that kind of like that's basically what it looks like as he hits and stops and the gust just continues past him to knock the two off. He's got his rapier drawn and so you say I see the tentacle attached to the wild boar, which makes me know there's at least one other one.
Yeah, you knew it was there, and I'm going to say with your passive perception that you see one of those tentacles off this creature slapped over the back of this thing, which you would have to jump to hit it. It's up on the higher part of the ridge of this thing's back. This thing has kind of a ridge in its back. It's very muscular with a high, you know how razorbacks look.
Yeah.
And you could swipe at and hit it, but you've also got these other two down here. It's up to you.
How does jumping work for you? Because I imagine he would see that and
one attack jumps up.
Okay. And so we get
one attack to jump. Well, you know what? No, I'll take movement from you. But if you're jumping up to hit something, it would be movement minus one attack.
Yeah, because I think he's trying to get a lay of the land. And I mean, if this creature's this big, like I would like to jump up upon its back. Like that's the goal, is to jump up on its back.
Okay. So, it would be easier if you were a little different. But in this moment, if you were doing that, I will say it's your 10 foot of movement. And I would have you do one attack to grapple onto the thing and be able to hoist yourself up to get up to that point.
Okay.
Because you couldn't just jump straight up on the back of this thing without grabbing onto it in some way.
Mm-hmm.
That's a realistic look at things.
Right. Yeah, man, that's fine. Because basically, like, I saw the two. I know there's a third. Who knows? There might be more behind this boar. And rather than walking around, I want to get on top and kind of get that visual aspect. Plus, then that way, if they come to attack, I have the high ground.
Yes, you do. No Darth Vader getting cut here, man. You have high ground. So, go ahead and give me an athletics or acrobatics check and tell me how it goes, and I'll tell you how this jumping goes.
All right. So I would assume it'd be acrobatically done because he is dexterous. Ooh, 19 on the die. So that's
works.
26.
Oh, Jesus. You almost vault over the son of a bitch. As you're able to find purchase on some of the feral hair of the side of this thing. And then when you're this close, you realize this thing is saddled, but it has been torn and is barely hanging on to it. So there are primitive like straps and leather workings and tusks and bone armor and things on this creature now that you're seeing it up close. And you're able to grab into a mess of that stuff, which has started to fall off. You can only imagine as it ran through the trees, shit was catching. Plus these displacer beasts have kind of pulled some of that shit down. And as you do, you grab on some of that, you're able to yank yourself up. You are on top of the creature now. You're up on top of its back. You are roughly about 9 foot off the ground, 9 to 10 foot off the ground, straddling on the back of this thing. There is a tentacle slapped right beside your feet within melee range, and then you can see the creature on the other side looks up and snarls at you, and its eyes open up as another crash of lightning illuminates the face of this creature. What are you doing? It's a frightful looking thing.
So, do I have the ability to cast a spell?
Well, you've already used one attack to do this, so you couldn't use your full action to do it.
Okay.
But if you had a bonus action spell, you could, or a reaction spell, you could.
Okay. No, this would be an action spell.
Okay. No, you already had to use a part of it to get up there.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Do you have the steadfast assault feat?
Yes.
You can subtract half of your movement, and you would get another attack or something on your turn. So if you want to use your steadfast assault, I will let you half your movement on your turn here, and I will give you a full attack action to do what you need to do.
Okay. I mean, yeah, because he's not going to move. So basically,
You would have 10 more feet of movement. You use 10 to get up here.
yeah.
You have 40 total. Let's cut it in half with steadfast assault. You can still do a major action thing, but your movement's halved at that point. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, so he's not going to move. So in your mechanics of world here, when a bard casts a spell, do they require both hands to cast?
Tell me what you're trying to cast and what level it is.
So I'm casting a hypnotic pattern, which the way I was thinking of it is, especially because he's College of the Swords, I imagine a lot of his spells he does more with flourishes of his blade. So like, for example, I imagine you just see him like carving into the air this arcanic ruin that then when he slashes it out, it causes these sparks like firework above him.
I like it.
In the sense of basically trying to catch these displacer beasts and cause them to stop in their tracks. Because basically what this is, it's a wisdom saving throw for it'd be the displacer beast, and I assume it would also be for the boar, because it's a ranged, so it's a 30-foot cube, so 30 foot around me, which would hit all the displacer beasts and the boar.
Now they have to be looking at you, right?
Let's see. Create 30 cube. The pattern appears. Each creature in the area who sees the pattern makes a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, I'm going to say Rowdy is not, because you're up on his back.
Okay.
Okay, just because he's looking down at the sand and was burying his head at that moment. That one is looking directly at you, and I'm going to roll checks to see if the other two are actually looking at you when this is done. Now, you just rolled the one, so I'm going to say at least one of them is. Yes, they have both taken notice to you. So you have the displacer beast, but Rowdy is not currently looking at you.
All right. So basically, they need to make a wisdom saving throw.
And you do a 1d20 plus your spell DC, or your bonuses. And tell me what the DC for this is.
19 on the motherfucker. I mean, yes.
Yeah,
on the die.
yeah.
So that's 27.
Jesus Christ. And that's what I like about this system. Because, the spell sometimes can really suck. Sometimes it can be damn near hard to pass. I like rolling the d20, man.
How does this intensify spell work?
you can use a feat and you can pick one particular spell and you can intensify all of its effects by half.
Okay, so
Its
we'll need
distance,
to.
its range, its dice.
Yeah, you and
it
I will need
costs-
to talk about that, and because I have that on here, and then the combo or the merge spell, and I don't know. We need to talk about those.
I know, right? I know. Well, when you want to have the conversation, I'm around. Dude, okay. On the 1d20 and 1d4, I just rolled 2 ones.
Oh shoot!
That just happened. That just happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel good for you bastards, but yeah, that happened. That's better, but it still doesn't beat your shit. What was it, 27?
27, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gosh, okay. I've got to let the 1 pass. I rolled nat 20 and a 3, so I've got to let that at least. I have to respect that. So the one on the back failed miserably because this is the one staring at you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The one that rolled the furthest distance away was not affected, but the one that was 10 foot off the rear right flank of this creature was affected. So number 2 and number 3 are hypnotized by you.
All right, cool. So that would mean the one on the beast on its turn would fall off the back because it's now incapacitated. They have 0 feet of movement unless they take damage.
Which happens when you fall from 10 foot.
Sure, yeah.
Damn it. Okay, so with the other one, it's the same way. It's halted. Now, is that something you have to keep concentration on?
It is concentration for 1 minute.
Okay, so that's your. You've used your movement.
That's everything.
You've used your action. You're done. Okay, and you were on top of the creature. You did a good check. You're there. Solid.
Yep.
Okay, next person to go is going to be Kiltusk. Buddy, Rowdy is down there. He is seeing all this go on, and he is starting to make his... Or not Rowdy, it's Loki, sorry. Loki is halfway between the beach and Rowdy right now, which is going to put him at about 10 foot from Rowdy, standing in front of him, facing the ocean as he had his head down. Okay, I'm going to put in here, put an L for Loki. Okay? So you'll be able to control him and tell him to do things after your turn. Okay, he goes right after you. You are on the front of the ship. You have 55 feet. You could probably get a shot off on Displacer Beast 2 or Displacer Beast 1. 1 would be partial cover, 2 would be your best shot, or you can try to get the fuck down there. Plus you have all other kinds of options. The sky's the limit. What would you like to do?
Well, I also just read
You're on deck, Brahmus.
I also read the 2 things that I could do with my bow, and I can't find one of them. I can find the second one, I just can't find the first one.
Oh, okay. You need me to go to your character file and help you here?
Yeah, I have no idea where to look for Blink Arrow. I got the Hail of Thorns right in front of me. I just can't find Blink Arrow.
And what's it say on your character sheet?
It says in the equipment, it says the Great Bow. The monstrous-inspired bow is built to withstand the attacks of fierce predators while being strong enough to pierce through the toughest scales.
Okay.
2 times a day, this bow has the ability to perform the Blink Arrow or the Hail of Thrones spell. Note that you may cast Hail of Thrones at 2nd level once a day.
Jeremy, would you look up the Blink Arrow spell, please? And I believe it's just where you shoot the arrow to, you're able to teleport there. I just don't know if it's an action or a bonus action to do so.
I mean, I can find, like, in the 5th edition Player's Handbook, I can find Blink. It does, but it's not Blink Arrow.
Okay, well, is it an action or a bonus action to do it?
I gotta go back to that.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's just one shot.
Blink's an
One
action. So if it's just an arrow that allows you to use the blink spell, you roll a d20 at the end of each of your turns for the duration. On a roll of 11 or higher, you vanish from your current plane of existence and appear. And this is dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly! If that's an arrow, that is that like arrows that you physically have, or like a special?
Well, no, his is more like a misty step via arrow to teleport from one spot to the other.
So this is like blink, but you just add arrow in front of it just to clarify it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean so this makes it look like multiple arrows, but you're only shooting one? Is that what this is?
No, he's saying that you're just calling it blink arrow to let him know that it's an arrow, but it's doing the blink spell.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense for me now. Thank you.
Okay.
That's
You're right, bud.
Holy crap.
So enjoy that, and tell me how this goes down.
So that's one action, and so.
So you're using the blink arrow?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to use
the bow once a day can turn an ordinary arrow into a blink arrow.
Oh boy.
Well, it's just twice a day for the blink arrow.
Even better.
Yeah. I'd say.
Yeah, twice a day for level 1 on blink arrow and hills on and blink. Once a day for blink arrow and twice a day for blink arrow, and also the first level version of Hail of Thorns, but I can only do second level version of Hail of Thorns once a day.
Right. Okay, so go ahead and describe to us this. Tell us the mechanics and what you're doing with it.
So with this, it says roll a d20 at the end of each of your turns for the duration of the spell. On a roll of higher or 11, you vanish from your current plane of existence and appear in the ethereal plane. The spell fails and the casting is wasted if you're already on that plane. I don't think I'm already on that plane.
Yes.
At the start of your next turn, and where the spell ends if you are on the ethereal plane, you return to an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within 10 feet of the space you vanish from. If no occupied space is available within that range, you appear in the nearest unoccupied space chosen at random if more than one space is equally near. You can do this spell as action. While on it for a plane, you can see and hear the plane you originated from, which is cast in shades of gray. And you can't see anything there more than 60 feet away. You can only affect and be affected by other creatures on the ethereal plane. Creatures that aren't there can't perceive you or interact with you unless they have the ability to do so.
Okay, so what is this? How is this working in this instance for you?
So since it's like an arrow, it's supposed to be like an arrow. I guess I'll try to shoot an arrow. Try to shoot a blink arrow.
At
Where's
number
Loki
2?
at? Well, where's Loki at?
Loki is about 10 foot in front of Rowdy, about 20 foot up out of the water. He's about 10 foot up away from Rowdy. He's 20 foot up out of the water on the beach. With his back turned to you, facing the fight with the frills and the feathers up, hissing, and his head's low, just getting ready to get engaged with these bastards.
How far are they from the wind line?
From the tree line?
Yeah.
At that point, 15 foot. Yep, the one displacer beast that he rolled with the wind damn near went back into the trees.
I'm trying to think of a good spot where I can still use my bow pretty accurately, and not like.
Okay. That spell doesn't make sense for that
right.
particular thing, though. It sounds almost like, correct me if I'm wrong, the intention of that was when he shoots, he has the choice of, instead of doing damage, to show up where that arrow would hit. Is that the intention?
Correct.
Ooh,
yes.
Damn.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you would roll an attack, and if you hit the thing, you can basically pop right where the fuck it's at.
Right.
Oh. Yeah,
that's badass.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was not how I was thinking.
You know what? No, here's the thing, though. If it took us 10 minutes to get that figured out, but you know what it does now, it was well worth that 10 minutes. It's all good.
I would say it's well worth it, yeah.
Blink fucking arrow.
Ain't
Okay?
Kiltusk's bow basically a sniper rifle? It's like a long
At
bow
this
with
moment-
a hellacious range.
Yeah.
So he could pop up just anywhere.
Oh man, wait till we have to go up a tower. Hey, can you just get up there real quick?
Get up
Just
there.
Put a rope.
out there and throw some
Well, you
rope.
know what made me think of this was Noctis in the Final Fantasy thing. You could throw those daggers and go to him. And I was like, oh yeah, I like that. I like that. And I could see, and I rolled some things for this bow to see what it could do and stuff like that. And it's nice. It's an ancient Atladi weapon that does some pretty cool shit. So go, boy. You're only 20 minutes into your turn and you haven't even done shit yet. Let's roll.
Okay, yeah, so I might do the second one.
Shakoma.
So I might do that. I might do it to the second one.
Okay. So what are you using blink arrow and getting there? Or are you
Yeah.
shooting from okay, bam. Roll an attack.
Okay, so
1d20 plus your attack bonus for the bow. And are you going into a hyper awareness or are you doing this standard right now? He has a version of rage called hyper awareness that he does. It's almost like the movie Limitless where he's like ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And yeah, it's very interesting.
So will this be dexterity?
Absolutely. Well, yeah, your attack bonus, your weapons and stuff are in the middle of your character sheet, and if you follow that all the way to the right, your total attack bonus is added there. You'll have one talks about your total damage, and one is your attack bonus. So you add a 1d20 to that, and that's your attack roll is. So what is your number? Is it 13?
No, it's 12.
It's 12, which is still damn good, man. You've got a lot invested in that. So 1d20 plus 12, tell me what you get.
Not 20.
Yeah, that works. So double your dice. Go ahead and shoot you roll your damage for your arrow. And tell me what that is, then double that. And then add your bonuses after you've doubled your dice. I think it's a 1d10 because she has a great bow. So I think you're doing 1d10 of your arrows.
Yeah, so you say so basically I'm doubling instead of doing 1d10, I'm doing 2d10 now.
Yeah, and ones are rerolls on these. You don't stick with ones. Not 20. So you roll 1d10, and whatever that is, you double it. Ones are rerolls.
So I got 5 with the d10 roll, so it'll be a
That's 10 plus your bonuses for damage, so it's right there beside your attack bonus. It's 1d10 plus
16.
what? 16 points of damage. All right. 16 points of damage as you land that 20 into the side of this creature. As it was starting to get back up and coming to and trying to use its paw and its tentacle to get the sand out of its eyes from the blast of sand that Darius laid down. Darius, you look over and you just hear this larger size arrow than you're used to. When he's shooting a bow, he's shooting a great bow. This is no little archers fishing in the shit. This thing comes flying by, you hear, right? And it smacks into the side of this displacer beast. It visibly knocks the wind out of the creature as it hits into the ribs and finds purchase. The creature falls down on its side, going prone from the impact of that, or at least its ass end does, and it seems like it can't move its back leg temporarily. And you are teleporting straight there now, correct? With Blink Arrow.
correct, yes.
That is one use of Blink Arrow for the day. Make sure you mark it down. You are now within melee range of the creature, and you have advantage on your attack because you are surprising it. So if you're a rogue, you love this bow.
I'm gonna steer my bow now.
Now, you can also take point blank shot because I know you have that feat. You can also do a dual arrow shot once a day. So now you've came down, you're right in target with it, and the bow's still in your hands. Okay, so let's get creative. What are you doing now? That's one attack. That's one shot. Or no, that takes the whole attack round to do that one bow, that one shot, because it's an action spell.
Yeah.
So we'll say that shot puts you there. Do you have steadfast assault as a feat?
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
So you have a bonus action you can use now that you are here. And remember, you also get to control Rowdy when your turn's over. So what would you like to do with your bonus action? You're on deck, Jeremy. Start thinking about what you're going to do. If you want to go ahead and start describing to me, go ahead and we'll get caught back up with him as you are making your way there. What are you thinking, boss?
All right. So being off the side of the ship, he's already seen them take off. So I'd say he's probably got a pretty good idea that they've that whatever they're going after is something that needs to be protected.
Yeah, yeah.
If he drops off the side of the boat, how much distance does he need to cover to get over
Okay.
there to the
You
fray?
drop off the side of the boat there. To get to Rowdy, it's going to be 45 foot. Because you're up on the very front of the boat.
Oh,
You're in the shallows.
That ain't bad at all.
No. You were up pretty high on the front of it, where everyone else is trying to run up there to get you. You're kind of like you're the maiden statue on the front of the ship. You're right there at the tip nose of it.
So I wouldn't be able to get to any of the displacer beasts, but could I get within 30 feet of the other two?
Yes.
Of Darius and Kiltusk?
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do then.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to get up to them and hit them with the good old bless.
Okay, and roll the spell to see how potent of a version this is. 1d20 plus your attack with the spell.
It's not great. It's a 10. So about average.
About average. Okay, so I won't modify anything for it here. And the bless affects everybody within what range?
Up to 3 creatures of my choice within 30 feet.
So that's Kiltusk. That is Darius. And is that also within 30 foot? That can also be Loki or Rowdy, whichever one.
Can I target myself with that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'll do then. Just the 3
Okay,
of
just
us.
the 3 of you guys. Okay. So
And because it's on my eternal favor, I don't have to hold concentration on it.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Got it. So then what are you doing? Is that the end of your turn, or you have more?
I'm going to use bonus action to cast Spirit Shroud.
Okay, and describe that for me, please, and what it looks like.
So after you see him kind of light up a little bit, and these tendrils come out to Kiltusk and Darius for the bless. You see him stand there, real straight, and he crosses his arms and looks down at a holy symbol, and what they see are spirits that were which they probably would not have seen, but they would resemble like the spirits that he's seen when he was in the fight with the Valkyrie.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
And they just kind of flitter around him.
Nice. Okay.
And basically with that, until the spell ends, I can deal an additional 1d8 damage of cold, radiant, or necrotic, which is my choice. Any creature that takes that damage can't regain hit points. And in addition, any creature of my choice that ends its turn within 10 feet of me has its speed reduced by 10 feet until the start of my next turn.
That's awesome. Write that down so we know what is going on, okay? So if we pick this up later, you know what's happening, all right? I've got down the blessed, but you keep that in mind. Now, one of the reasons why I jumped back and forth here is because you guys both had the same initiative roll of a 20. So you two's turns are going very hand in hand here. Plus, I just want to give you a little bit of stress to get rolling in gear here, Colby. I'm not picking on you, but it's just how the game works. So with that little brief moment, Good news, now you're blessed and it's still your turn. Okay? Because these things are kind of happening simultaneously. You just got to jump because you got a little bit higher dex, right? So, after looking at what looks to be 10 books down there, have you decided what you're doing to finish your turn?
Yeah.
Get it, buddy. What you got?
Next to know is point blank shot a bonus action.
Does it say it's a bonus action in the description?
It's got to be an action because it's an attack.
Yeah, it's an action. Point blank shot just lets you take shots and stuff that are at close range at you without people getting attacks of opportunity. It lets you be able to fire close range creatures without all the penalties for it typically.
Okay, then never mind it.
If you think about it, it sounds like kind of Fire Emblem. How you used to a normal archer could only attack with a space away, but with point blank you can attack literally the next space adjacent.
Yeah. So is that it for your turn, boss? Now you have movement. And you also have your reaction. And what's great is you've gave this thing, if something attacks it from the front, you're flanking it now. So there's good things to be said for this. Plus you're fucking there. And you rolled a 20 and you hit this thing and knocked it prone. So good things have happened. So don't beat yourself up. It's been a great round. Is there anything else you'd like to do? You have movement. It didn't cost you movement to travel via arrow mail.
First class.
So I have a bonus action, and is movement a bonus action? Do we know that's a bonus action?
Movement is its own creature that you can divide up and use how you want to. It's your total feet and movement, and you can use other things in between those movements. It's like dance steps, boss. With that,
yeah. So, I might go back, like at least gain a little bit more space between this because what I'm gonna use for my bonus action, I really can't tell if like it puts me for that damage as well because it just says with each creature within 5 feet of it must do a dexterity saving throw for it the next time I hit them with the range buff.
okay.
So, it's not really like, and it's not confusing me if I'm not 5 feet well, 5 feet as well, if it's gonna hit me. So I'm just gonna take the extra caution and go back 15 feet.
15 foot. Okay. Now, do you want to go in the direction of? I'm trying to make you visualize this. Okay. Imagine that displacer beast that you hit with the arrow is 10 foot away from. Oh no, you went right up to it. Okay, you're right beside it. So 10 foot back would put you at the wood line. Do you want to go straight towards the wood line, or do you want to angle yourself away from the action a little bit at a 45 towards the wood line?
Maybe angle myself away from it.
Okay.
Just because, just the reason why I'm mainly using my bow.
Got it. I put you right underneath the shadows of the trees so the moonlight and the rain does not hit you anymore. You have went 45-degree angle from that creature and you are in the wood line and you have your bow drawn still. The good news is if this thing goes to turn to attack somebody else, I will give you an attack of opportunity on it because you do have arrows ready to rock and roll. I will do that for you with the bow since you're in point blank range and have that feat.
Okay, and then for my bonus action, I will do the second level version of Halo Thorns. Thorns, not Thorns. Thorns.
Well then, hell yes. Do it!
Okay. Yeah, so that's my bonus action. And the duration, and the components is just verbal. The range is myself, so I pretty much can use it for my bow.
Okay.
And the duration is concentration up to 1 minute.
Okay, and what happens is the next time you shoot a missile or something like that, the
next time I hit a creature with a ranged weapon attack before the spell ends, the spell creates a rain of thorns that sprouts from your ranged weapon or ammunition, in addition to a normal effect of the attack of the target and each creature within 5 feet, but it must take a dexterity saving throw.
So it's like hugging a sea urchin.
Yeah,
and I like it, buddy. That's awesome.
And the damage is 1d10 piercing damage on a failed save, or half the damage on a
Successful.
success check.
So I'm going to make a note here that you are loaded
And
with
since I'm doing
Hail of Thorns, right?
yeah, and since it's a second level spell, the damage increases by 1d10, so it'll be a 2d10 damage.
2d10 plus bow. All right, got it. And that's what you're holding right now. Fantastic turn, sir. Let's go ahead and go through them. Then we'll start at the top of the turn with Darius again. Let me go through some theatrics here. The next person to go after you, Brahmus, was going to be number 4, which is Displacer Beast number 3, but it is hypnotically patterned. It falls off the ground, off the creature, because it was the one that was right up in your face, Darius. Let me see how much damage it takes. I know it takes 1d6 for every 10 foot it falls. If this is a 1 through 3, I'm going to let the hypnotic pattern remain. If this is a 4 through 6 or a substantial thud, which is going to snap this creature out of it, then we both know what's going to happen here. Okay? But at least there we've got a chance, and that makes sense. Because I don't think you should go by and slap somebody on the head and then hypnotic pattern just be over like that. It seems a little silly to me. That is a natural 1. Cats always land on their feet, even if they're a little stir crazy. It lands, but it has no idea what's going on. The flash of your blade has enchanted it, and it is done. As it stands there in the sand about 5 foot away. Da-dirt! All right. Then we have the next one to go, which is going to be number 5, which is Rowdy. Okay. So, you've jumped off. The one thing's happened. He sees Loki. Oh, after this, think about what you want to have Loki do, okay? I forgot to do that. Let me get through this a little bit, and you can decide what Loki's doing. He is going to do the one that's on the ground that he sees over here to his side that is hypnotically done. He is going to turn up. He is going to rear up on his hind legs, and he's going to come down head first on top of the sucker and pin it to the black sand with his tusks. And he's just going to try to snub on that sucker and he's going to gore the shit out of that thing. All right, let me roll here and see.
How do you do incapacitated with your mechanics? I know that some house rules are that if a creature's incapacitated, that it's auto crit, for example. Like if I'm asleep, auto crit on me.
Yes, but I'll have a person roll the same time. If they roll a very pitiful attack, I'll take that in consideration. You know what I mean? But normally it can be criticals.
Okay. And do they get advantage since it's prone?
Well, what's great about it is, if something is incapacitated and prone, I look to our armor class system for the truth. And the fact of the matter is, you're hitting a 10 plus what they're wearing. They have no bonuses for dodging. They have no bonuses for blocking. It is just you getting past what they have on. And that's the great thing about the way we do armor class. The numbers speak for themselves. Yeah, there's no, this shit, you're not blocking, you're not dodging, but I got to get around your vest. And if I do that, I'm fucking you up. That's that. All right. That hits. Rowdy comes down. I need you to do a dexterity skill check for me, Corey, to see if you're able to maintain as he rears up and is turning around to hit the surf thing, to see if you can surf the boar. Like Teen Wolf on the back of the van, we're going to see how this goes. I'm glad someone thought that was funny, because I thought the Teen Wolf reference was pretty damn clever. He didn't, because he fell, didn't he? He fell. Damn it.
Yep.
Wasn't it even actually the wolf that got on there, or was it he just?
Well, you know what? I said you grabbed a handful of stuff, but you were also flurrying with your blade.
Oh
So
yeah, he would have not been holding on to anything. I am not one to try to get away from a flub. Luckily, it wasn't a nat 1; it was a 2.
Twice as good. I like it.
Yeah. So that would be a 9 dexterity saving throw.
Not holding on. I can't imagine regular Darius has the thigh strength to hold on cowboy style.
Nah. Mm-mm.
Okay, so with what I just did with my damage, he has gored this thing for 9 points of damage. He rolled really bad, but he's got a high strength on him. So Rowdy's got this thing pinned, and it is grappled right now. It is being held prone against the sand. It has come out of the hypnotic pattern charm, but it is stuck to the ground by Rowdy, and you have fallen off. So, 1d10, or 1 through 10, you've fallen off on the side that Rowdy has this thing pinned up by the front. 11 through 20, you are back at the rear end of it, where you have a clear shot of Kiltusk drawing, prone displacer beast, and throne displacer beast. You have an ass to the woods view. Okay.
I would much rather fall on the side of the beast that's being pinned, just so I can have a really funny story to tell you guys.
I wish that were the case, because I rolled a 12 though, and you were on the other end.
Yeah, I could just imagine like him falling and then like being like right by that displacer beast.
Right on. But no, you fall off the backside, unfortunately. As some more of the gear and the armor protection, as you try to catch yourself, you pull some more stuff off of it as some hollowed tusks and some scales hit the ground in the sand, and you land with a 2.
So it'd be a 9 total because my dexterity.
I mean, I'm not going to make you prone, and I'm not going to give you damage for that, because it's not like you fell and broke your ankles and shit, but you were thrown off. Let me see something here. You were thrown off, so... Oh, shit. See, yeah, I can't help but do that. I rolled a 6 on the 1d6 for being thrown off a 10 foot up in the top. So you're going to take 6 points of bludgeoning damage, and you landed pretty hard, so what that's going to mean is you're going to be prone. So it'll take half of your movement, or 15 foot of movement, to get up at the beginning of your next turn, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good night. Love you too, kiddo. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so with that, that is going to be the end of Rowdy's turn. Let's go ahead and do number 6, Displacer Beast. He is hypnotically pattern 2. That is number 2. That's the one you hit. But when you hit it, that got rid of the pattern, but it took the damage. And it has been knocked prone from the shot. So with all this chaos and shit going on, it is going to spend 15 foot of its movement to get up. And then as it stands there for just a second and looks and whips its head around and checks out the situation, does 23 hit you, Darius?
ACP is 24.
It missed you by 1. All of a sudden you feel, oh no, because you couldn't have seen it and shit like that. That would have got past because you wouldn't have had weapon defense or block against that. What is just 10 plus your protection number? How much your armor covers of your body? So what it would be is like your breach, your armor class breach, is going to be your armor class primary plus your protection. What is just your protection?
So then that would be 6?
Okay, 6. So without being able to block or dodge this attack, your armor class is straight 16. And this just hit past that. Here's the thing. You feel it. You feel and you smell hot breath. And you feel like something's right up on you. But nothing was just a few seconds ago. And as you feel this, you see some blood come out from underneath of you in a spot of your armor that wasn't protected. And you take 6 points of slashing damage Roll a history check.
So I take 12 damage because you said 6 from falling.
Yeah.
What is become bloodied?
Bloodied is when you have less than half your hit points.
Okay.
Roll a history check for me.
That's a nat 1.
You don't know what the fuck is going on right now, dude, but something just got you and you have no idea where it came from. And you feel, it's not panic, but that, holy shit, like there's someone standing behind you in the dark and you can't see them. There is a very strange thing going on here. And with that history check, you don't know exactly what this strange thing is. With that, there's going to be... Which one is it? Number 2. Okay. The same eerie look comes over another one. And let's see what we're going to do here. Oh, shit. Okay. I don't think any of you would notice this. All of a sudden, you hear Rowdy cry out again in panic. Now, I'm not going to move him again because it's not his turn. But all of a sudden, I'm going to say this just for the hell of it. Because you're alerted now, Darius. You are looking around, like flipping out, like, what in the fuck just happened to me? Roll me a perception check, please.
16.
You see on the backside of Rowdy, as you fell off towards the backside, as he screams out in pain, you turn around and look, and you see claw marks on the ass of this creature, reaching down, and you can see the skin tug like a shirt and pull, but you don't see any creature there. Things have got serious. And now it is your turn. You are prone, down 12 points from bludgeoning, 6 from slashing, and you are not quite sure what the hell to make of this with that one, but something isn't as it seems here.
Loki still has to go, Brian.
Yep. Go ahead and do that for me real quick. I apologize. What would he be doing on his turn? You are facing the front of Rowdy. You are, I think we said 10 foot away from him.
Mm-hmm. So, is there any more displacer beasts that Loki can see?
Not from where you are, no. You would be able to see Rowdy. The other ones too are back far from the woods, and the other one is on the other side of Rowdy. They would all be blocked from view. He would be aware that they are there, but that is about it. You could always run around and look, but you can't get a good eyeball on much of it unless you'd move.
So he's in front of Rowdy, correct?
Yes, 10 foot between the water and him.
Is that displacer beast that Rowdy had prone still on the ground in front of him?
No, there is no displacer beast in the front of Rowdy anymore. You'd have to circle around either one side or the other for Loki to have visual contact on any of them.
Okay, so he can have visual contact. I guess I'll move.
Yeah, you have 60 foot of movement with him. He's a striding son of a bitch. So would you like to go to the right or to the left around Rowdy if that's your choice?
What side is Kiltusk on?
Left.
I'll have Loki go to the right.
Okay. You're going to circle around to the right, and that's going to be the number 3. The one that was speared down by Rowdy. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I apologize. If you go around to the right, because he turned after you would come up on the bank, if you go around to the right, now you're going to be facing the front of Rowdy, and you're going to see he's got that one put into the sand with his tusks into it. It is prone, and now that you've circled around, you're within 10 foot of it. You've used 10 foot 10 more foot would get you up to what he has held in place against the black sands. You wish to have him attack it? Do you want him to help Rowdy, or what are you thinking about doing with him?
Well, I was thinking about doing pounds, but it looks like he needs to be more than 30 feet away. No.
Okay.
It just says if the Allosaurus moves at least 30 feet straight toward the creature.
You can have him go pounce on the other one that didn't come up yet.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll have him do that then.
Okay. So number 2 was the one that you had shot initially and was still prone. You could have him continue with his movement running around Rowdy, and when he spots that one down on the ground that you put that big ass arrow in, I would say that maybe he smells your arrow. He senses that's the one that you've attacked, and he would go after that one with a charging attack, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This one is basically what's going to happen is basically he's going to move straight towards it and hit and attack it with a claw attack, and then has to succeed a strength saving throw, or he is prone again, and then I can make Loki do a bonus action with a bite attack.
Bite. Okay. Go ahead, and I'll say you're charging up on him. Go ahead and roll your attack roll for him.
So first one. Total of 23.
That'll do it. With it being prone and things of that nature with the arrow in it, that is enough to hit and breach the creature.
Okay.
Now hold on for a minute. No. Go ahead. When he runs up there and you go to charge through the creature, it falls into the sand. There is nothing there. Your beast would be very confused at the moment, as was Corey, because he saw it there, but it's somewhere else. And as you charged and went to fight and bite into that creature there, he falls into the sand and charges right through it, and the creature is not there.
Okay.
Sorry. What are you doing?
Dang it, Ryan. Is he still able to smell it?
Roll a perception check. You have hunted these creatures before. He is familiar with what's going on here. He just didn't realize it had happened already. Your creature is familiar with what these creatures do here. They're local.
On the skills lead, the planned skills list on here is a +5, so 17. And
Okay, with that, I'm going to give you a little bit of your creature's wisdom, okay? You have a tail sweep move.
Mm-hmm.
That the creature does and hits everything within a 10-foot area. Okay?
So,
your creature would
basically what
probably
you're saying
be... Yeah, because I'm not metagaming for you, because remember, this is just a beast. You're not giving it specific instructions.
Mm-hmm.
But I know from the history of what it does, that's your best chance right now. If a 17, you can see marks in the black sand. You know this creature's displacing. And that's not as simple as the regular D&D rules make it sound. It's a much more complicated situation than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would swing for the tail and hope you hit something.
Okay. So then that's still +9. 22.
Okay, if a 22, the tail feels purchase on something. Okay? And Darius, this is what you see. As you feel this blood and you're up there looking and stuff like this, all of a sudden this Allosaurus, the Loki you saw from earlier, the thing that Kiltusk calls his beast, comes running out and goes to charge right through and bite the creature, and it's not there. It just goes right through it and the image is still there. right? The Allosaurus stands up and raises his tail and just roars in the air and spins. And as it does, you guys are within 10 foot of each other in proximity on the map that I have. Okay, Darius? From where you've actually landed up here, you are within 10 foot of the area of this thing. For theatrics, when he spins his tail, you get a flash of something getting hit beside you as it rolls this large black panther from right in front of you. And when it comes to, you realize that thing's mouth was open and it was right here in front of you, buddy. His tail just caught it. Let's roll opposing strength checks. Roll your strength. I'm going to roll displacers and see if you knock it prone or not.
Okay, so 1d20 plus 3 is the DC for.
Nice. Roll high. You're going to beat me. I didn't make it.
Natural 19 plus
Yeah,
3, 22.
You rolled the creature. What's it do? Knock everybody 10 foot back? Is that what the tail does?
Yes, not back 10 feet.
Okay, so now that one is knocked all the way back to the wood line as well. Knocked off of you, Darius. And it is now back to wood line and prone as well. Wow, dude.
Does the creature still take damage from it?
Yes, roll your damage for your tail swipe.
4. Level 4.
Not the best and certainly not the worst.
No.
Okay, with that, Darius, it's your turn.
So the creature's only 10 feet away from me then? Because if it was right on me and it got knocked 10 feet away?
Correct. And it's towards the wood line.
Right. I mean, I would imagine that, Darius falling off the beast with that low roll, he probably would have fell and hit his back and started to roll over as the creature, clawed into his backside.
Which was fucked because you didn't see it.
Yeah. And so, like, as he gets clawed, he does that, like, rearing up, like, ah! And then that's about the split second that the Allosaurus or whatever runs over and whacks it with his tail. And so he watches as it clings across. So he kind of, still gripping on his rapier, takes his left hand and grabs it into the dirt as he pushes himself up to rush towards the displacer beast that is now knocked prone.
Is it fair to say that you should roll 1d4? Does that fit into your criteria with everything that just happened?
I mean, that's fine. That's why I was asking the whole bloodied thing. That one doesn't really make sense to only roll once. But I mean, he's about to attack anyways. So this is perfect. So like,
okay. I like when people say perfect. I love it.
Yeah, because
we'll get off here shortly, guys.
Because one of the triggers is take an attack action. I'd imagine that it'd be a 1d4 when he gets an attack on him that hits as well. This is my opinion. Correct. So that would be that. Which so he was 0 earlier, but he's now 12. So basically, like I said, he as he gets up, he grips the dirt, and thematically speaking, no one sees it, but as he grips the dirt, like his nails are beginning to kind of grow along as he grips it really well and pushes himself out, and you see as it just seems like he is his muscles seem to be like engorging with blood, and like he's getting a little thicker, and like the hairs begin, like it almost looks like the hairs are starting to stand up on his body, or maybe even slightly seems a little thicker than normal, as he rushes towards this displacer beast. And that would be the movement, but he's going to then attack.
Nice, do it, man.
So because this thing's prone, I forgot, did you say you don't get advantage on prone things, or yes?
You do, yes.
Okay. So he'll go up.
Because that restricts its ability to block and dodge.
Right. Oh, so is it advantage or does it just not get those evasion? And
I
parry?
go ahead and stick with that as a generic advantage. If one particular thing is taken away by a person, because it can still do both, but it can't do it as good as it normally would if it was on its feet. So that's
Okay.
why I'm giving you this. In the instance where the thing swung at you, I took
Mhm.
away your block and dodge entirely because you could not see this happening.
Right. Right.
So
All right.
that's the difference for me in game. Yeah.
All right. So I'm just looking here. So the rapier is damage bonus. Oh no, the attack bonus is what I'm
Attack
looking at.
bonus,
So
1d20 plus that, yeah.
so
You also have weapon specialization. Once a day or once per turn, you can add a 1d4
12.
to any one of your rolls, whether it be a damage, attack, or a critical hit chance. It's up to you.
All right. So basically, if I'm looking at this correctly, I rolled a 10 at the highest plus 12, so that'd be a 22 to hit.
That's awesome. That is a breaching hit on this creature. It means
Okay.
you surpassed the thickness of its hide and things like that, and you're able to hit it in a vulnerable area, and it takes straight lethal damage.
All right. And so you anyone who would be watching, I don't know if Brahmus is watching at this point since he's still kind of coming up, like you would see as he very finessely like slashes at the creature, but then instinctively goes in for a bonus action and just like tries to rip at it with his left hand.
Nice. Go ahead. And you have the combo attack feat, don't you?
Yes.
You have a +1 to this attack roll.
Okay.
You get +1s as you hit in succession.
All right. So that would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that would be a 25 to hit.
That is also a breaching attack. So you've done 2 now. So you've struck at it with your rapier, and then you followed up with the claw attack.
Okay. Now, so I'm reading this. So attacks per round. It says 5-2. What does that mean?
That means you get 5 attacks every 2 turns. So on your first turn, you get 2, and on your second turn, you get 3. It's back and forth.
Okay. All right. So then, so this is, so I only get 2 right now.
Well, to be fair, you would have got 2 on your first turn, so this would be your 3 turn.
Oh, okay. So,
DM's got you, buddy. Jeremy's like, yeah.
So then it would be a rapier again?
Whatever you want.
Because
I'm not
I
particular.
think the claw, I'm just going to say rapier just to make it simple for now.
Cool. I don't discriminate with all that. I don't use the whole dual wielding. You get 1 extra attack of this. You're using things, and you have attacks per round, which are your ability to pull off proficient attempts at kicking something's ass of what you have available.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, then
thinking
about it, then I think it would be more thematical for it to be like he slashed at it with the rapier very finessely, and then he just like clawing at it almost wildly like a creature. So, but that would be a 28.
That is another breaching hit. That is 3 now.
Okay. And then as far as damage goes,
yeah, that's the good part.
it would be
you're lucky
7.
you caught this sucker against the ropes where it was holding still, and you were able to do some shit. Yeah.
So 7 on the rapier.
I'll go through Brahmus's turn and Kiltusk's turn, and we'll call it a night, okay?
5, 7, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 26 points of damage. And I would like for it to make a wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
As fabled in Kicks in a Bestow Curse.
Oh, yes, it does. And I rolled a 10. I rolled a 10.
I rolled a 19 on the dice.
Nice, buddy. So, I'm cursed. What's the curse?
So...
His sword, Fable's End, has the ability to curse as a magic weapon so many times a day. It can give like an extra D8 to damage every time you hit it. It can make it have fear. It can do all kinds of cool shit.
I would say that as he does it, like when he rips into it, that he it imbues the disadvantage attack rolls against me. Basically, like he slices through it and then like digs his claw into that wound to try to basically freak the shit out of this creature to make it
I like it.
afraid of him. So it's the curse is the target has
Fear.
disadvantage on attack rolls against me.
Okay, fear. Got it. All right. Is there anything else you have left on your turn that you would like to do, sir?
No, but
Okay.
but make it very clear that Darius does not. He looks obviously different.
Okay, I got it. Hybrid is written down. Jeremy, you're up, boss. What's it look like?
All right.
And
So,
listen, if you really want to get in this, we can. If you want to wait till next time, it's fine. But I can do your turn and Kiltusk, and we'll call it tonight because it's already 10:40.
yeah, probably need to go ahead and call it. I gotta get up early.
Okay. Well, let's do that then. Remember, you're at the start of this. And what's great is we have a little compact half hour here where I can watch the end of this video and get ready for next time we go. It's going to be you, and it's going to be Kiltusk, then Loki, and then we'll roll back through the bads again, and that's going to be where we're at. Okay? So let me wind this down here real quick. Okay. And I hope everybody enjoyed that. It's pretty good. We was able to get into a little bit of something there and have a little bit of fun with it. So like I say, I'll go ahead and we'll end the video here, and then we'll have a quick little 5-minute bullshit session, and then prepare for next time. So as always, I'm Brian Kynes. If you're somebody that checks these out, I hope you enjoy them. If there's some questions you have or comments, please leave them. I appreciate all that kind of feedback. And we will see you guys possibly again next Sunday. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you then.